It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to what's Talk Raps. You're listening to what's Talk Raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
We are indeed Grapsody, here to talk raps. We were sitting here for a minute because I was very confused by something on the StreamYard side, but no worries, we're still here. You know what it is. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsay. Of course, I am here with my co-host, Righteous Reg. What's going on?
Hello, it's your boy in the building, Media Man, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. I said hello. That was just really weird way to start the show, but I'm in the building. It's your boy, Righteous Reg. Very excited to be here. Saturday morning, a whole lot of stuff going on. Who's surprised about this? But Phil Lindsay, we are out here very, very close to our 100th episode of Grapsody. That's all that's really been running through my mind these last couple days. A couple days ago, I was like, I wonder how many episodes we have. And so you went and did some extensive research to find out exactly how many episodes your boys have been on here. And this is 98?
Yep.
Or is this 99?
This is episode 98. We are officially 3 episodes away from our 100th episode.
Crazy.
This is quite crazy when you think about it. Doesn't seem like we've been recording this podcast this long. Even when I was looking at how many episodes we've just recorded with just the two of us, and I'm like, does not seem like we recorded that many episodes.
How many is it? Just us?
Since Will left, we are at, counting this one, 13 episodes. Sorry,
Yo.
16 episodes.
Yo, time, bro. That's 16 weeks already that Will Washington has been over there doing his thing. It's been a wild journey. All those episodes that you counted, not even counting the interviews and a couple of other things that we have done. It's like, man, when you're just going at it, it doesn't seem like that many. And when it's so easy for us to just get on here and talk, it doesn't seem like, time. It's just like, oh, I'm just on a podcast talking with the homie. It's great.
Yeah. Go figure. I've said it before, looking at those numbers, and I will repeat it again today on this podcast. When in the annals of pro wrestling media history, when they speak about this Fightful thing, they got to put our banner up on a wall for 2022.
Put our jerseys up, big dog.
We were out here. We was different in 2022, man.
Very different in 2022, but still pretty early in 2023. And I'd say there's some,
Yeah, listen, man. We have been in talks before we realized our 100th episode was coming up in a few weeks, and we've been planning some things. We'll have a very special way to celebrate our 100th episode announced very soon. Keep your eyes out for that.
Very soon. Super soon. Insanely soon. A way to cap off just the greatness that we've experienced so far. A really fun way that I think people are going to be very excited about. So keep your ears to the streets, my people, because it's going down. What else is up, Phil Lindsay? Before we get into some wrestling talk, how was your week? What's going on out there in Chicago? Getting ready to touch down in Chicago in about 2 weeks here at this point now. And I'm getting pretty excited about it. I need to start getting my gear ready. You told me it could potentially be cold, but then it also could be humid. I'm not really in tune with what I should go with so far. Still playing it by ear, but very excited. It's going to be my first time touching down in Chicago. I mean, as a lifelong Jordan fan, life used to only be about Chicago. I used to have the black and red Chicago Jordan jersey. This is like legendary, man.
Very legendary, man. I again when I seen that number, I seen that 100th number, and I was like, man, that 100th episode might be in the same place with this guy. I don't know.
Oh
Uh, it might be in the
yeah,
same city at the same time when that
that's
that
right.
episode pops up, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
just so happens to be here in my hometown. Just so
Fitting.
happens to be in the year 2023, our Jordan year. I'm
Two,
calling
three.
it.
It's
And listen,
fitting.
man, it's just it's a lot of things coming together, man.
It's very fitting, man. I didn't know these dots and things were connecting together, but I'm very excited about it. Life is pretty wild. It's been super busy week. I've been writing for PWI. The 500 issue is coming out very soon. Got my entries in, ready for y'all to tear the timeline up when it happens. Also, very deep into BW 500 talk. Number one is there. It's established. Nobody could do anything to touch that. So the rest of the list is easy because that's like the hardest part for me. The 1 through 10 is really where the bread and butter of the Black Wrestling's 500 is, you guys, before this list comes out in a couple weeks. The rest of it, you can debate, fight, cry, yell, whatever. But it's a celebration of 500 of the best Black wrestlers. That's it. If you want to say like, oh, this is something, you could do the top 10, but even then, like, you're gonna be mad anyway, so it doesn't matter. Just celebrate these 500 great black wrestlers. This year is insanely hard. There's wrestlers being discovered legit on a daily, 5 to 10 new black wrestlers. I'm like, yo, you guys stop. I don't there. I can't. I'm gonna have to make this the BW 1000 very soon because they keep growing and they keep coming. It's really crazy, Phil, because like a lot of I've seen a lot of black women wrestlers now, like new ones, and they're like all just like inspired by Sasha and like, oh, I watched fucking Take Over Brooklyn or the things that Trinity did in WWE, and it's like the amount of people and the amount of women wrestlers that were inspired by kind of that generation of women is gonna be, it needs to be studied, honestly.
Yeah, that is interesting to think about. And I do see women's wrestlers popping up all the time to say that they were inspired to wrestle watching Sasha and Bailey, which is just insane to think about.
Because that doesn't seem like that long ago, but it's like
No,
it's a minute now though.
no, it's not. It's wild. But yeah, man, have your hands full. A lot of things happening out here. Rest in peace to Virginia legend Magoo. If you're like me and the time period where I discovered hip hop and I started listening, that first Timbaland and Magoo album was one of those albums, one of the first albums I bought.
Timbaland was on fire at that point, and like his production was crazy. So for him to be like, "Hey, I got a rapper that's gonna be all me," the whole world, we were all tuned in, especially coming off of what Missy had done. We were just like, "Oh, Timbaland's
yeah,
about to come with something crazy," and then they come out with "Up Jumps the Boogie," and it's like, "Yo,
one
this
one of,
is
one of the
crazy."
best posse cuts ever. Is it essentially it's a posse cut?
Yeah,
One of the best posse cuts ever. But yeah, they were on a run at that time period. That first Missy album is a classic album.
crazy.
Man, I mean, honestly, that first Timbaland and Magoo album is a classic album.
Yeah, totally.
It might not be one of those albums where start to finish, you like it is like hit after hit after hit, but it's still a classic album. In my
And
opinion.
it's not like we're not putting it up against Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt as far as
we're not saying
bars.
anything crazy like that. But it's a classic album in the sense of like what it meant at that time period, at least to me. And this could be personal bias, I don't know, but
It's our generation for sure.
it's definitely our generation, man. And so, yeah, it sucked to hear that last weekend.
Legends, bro.
It did feel good to see him get a lot of love. It
Mm-hmm.
did feel good to see people giving him his flowers. I saw a lot of people bringing up his flow on BB 911 feature, which is one of his best verses in my opinion. Yeah, sucks.
That's one of those. It feels like if he came out now, like he'd be highly regarded. But since he came out, it was like 97, 98, and you're against top tier, like 98, like DMX and Cannabis and all these guys started coming on the scene. It was like, oh, there's rappers, and then there's Timbaland and Magoo who's making like, hip hop pop hits at essentially like they're mainstream like hip hop records. and people were like, "Oh, Magoo can't rap," but like, yeah, if you're comparing him to the greatest rappers of all time, like, I mean, who can rap when? Oh, he can't rap like Big Daddy Kane or Rakim. Neither can I. What do you want from me?
Yeah, no. Magoo was not no lyrical guy. It's not like I went to him for like content and all this subject matter.
Right.
He was a guy that had great delivery. He had like
Mm-hmm.
great style.
His
He
voice.
fit. Yeah, he fit those records that he was on, man. He fit Timbaland's style and music. He fit the Virginia style that was popping at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those things where he came along at the perfect time, and so I never felt like, oh man, he's not rapping like this guy, so he's trash. Like I don't really believe in that.
I hope, but off of everything, the tributes and people that have been paying, especially from the artists from Virginia like Pharrell and Missy and Clips and all them, they need to have a documentary on that scene and what came out of Virginia and everything, especially, coming off the backs of this. And seems like Magoo made a big contribution, even bigger than what, he did on screen and on record. Feels like he made a big contribution and played a part of all those people kind of coming out. So they need to have something going on with that. Rest in peace to Magoo. Tired of coming. How many podcasts of those 98 podcasts we came on here, Phil, and said rest in peace to some rapper at this point? It's like,
yeah. Well, what was we still don't know the cause of death for him.
No.
Stuff for me to really jump all over it, because some of this stuff is like unfortunate. Like this is not at least like the takeoff stuff where it's like this guy should still be here.
Yeah, totally. But there's been some crazy ones. Like I've been thinking about the Big Pokey one recently, and he like fell off stage and like, yo, rappers, man, it's crazy. So again, rest in peace to Magoo. There was a time that his records were playing very loud all the time on repeat. So rest in peace to a legend. Speaking of hip hop, I got around to watching the hip hop 50 8 hours, watched all 8 hours, Phil, locked in.
Wow.
It took some time though. I didn't watch it once.
Wow.
One round. All last weekend was like through like watching whatever wrestling show was like, all right, let me put this on. And so I went through and watched it, and there was a lot of great stuff. I think my favorite performance was Snoop. Like, oh yeah, of course, like big surprise. Just because like Snoop got hits, man. Like I was thinking like who, because the whole versus concept is crazy and not as great as it used to be. But there has to be a whole versus, and I keep thinking like, who's gonna be the whole versus? And like the people that a lot of people talk about were featured here because Nas played eventually on this show. But I'm like, Snoop, man, like Snoop got those. Who was saying? I was listening to a podcast and someone was saying Nas and Hove is like Jay-Z got those big stadium hits. Like he got those like mainstream hits. Yeah, and Nas doesn't have those, and that doesn't take away from Nas. Like I say all the time on this podcast, he has the greatest hip hop album of all time, so none of that shit really matters. But like when it comes to like we're gonna play 20 hits, Jay-Z's gonna play records that are gigantic, you know what I mean, and like that have been around the world. And I was like, maybe Snoop, man, because Snoop got some of those that are like giant. Like Beautiful is like not his biggest song, but that's a gigantic song, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man, it does seem crazy now that his verses was one of those first verses. It seems like that was like so long ago.
Yeah.
DMX was still with us.
Right.
Very grateful we got that to see him in good spirits and seeing him like perform again. That's one of the last times we've seen him perform, which sounds crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Hov will ever do a versus. He
won't.
He's just like, nah, I ain't doing that. But I mean, even if you put him in versus, like in that setting, I don't know if there's many people you can put up there.
You can't. It has to be Hov versus Hov. I think he said that before.
I think
he said that. He's like, I'm gonna go against myself. I'm like, honestly, like you could do 20.
You gotta make it the celebration joint.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the only way, because like who's gonna compete? Like, I love Nas. Nas is GOAT, but like you don't have 20 records to beat.
Nah, I've seen people.
I don't even know if you have 5, really, honestly.
I've seen people say Kanye, and I'm just like, no, we don't want. I don't want to see that.
It's not gonna hit for me. Like I'll understand.
It'll be a fun versus, but it's gonna be one of those where I don't think it's gonna be we're gonna be judging it based off who won. It's gonna
Yeah,
be like one of those things where it's just enjoying it for what it is.
moments.
And I think the Nas one would be the same way. Like it would be a cool moment, but I don't think we should judge it as like competition.
That's why you
Uh,
got to have Ho versus Ho. Some people are saying Drake, and I'm like, if you don't get out of my
Drake
face,
Drake arguably is in the conversation, but again, I just like
settings. If
it
this
just
is in MSG with that Locks versus Dipset crowd, Drake's out of here. Like, he can't compete with Ho.
if Hove is up there rapping, nah,
Yeah,
nah,
he's
Drake's out
out.
here. But in terms of hits, Drake does have a
Well,
lot of hits, bro.
yeah, a bunch.
He's got a lot of hits.
But I feel like they're different though.
but still, he's got a lot for this generation.
Yeah.
Think about
yes,
it for this
wow.
generation, like for us,
A lot.
like there was a period where there was nobody that had the longevity that Hove did. For this generation, it's kind of Drake. Like
It is Drake.
who else has had the longevity that Drake has had?
Ho wasn't on top the whole time that he was out. Like Drake has been on top like 90% of the time that he's been out. So like it's
Yeah.
pretty different. Like he does like if anybody, it's probably him. I'm just personally being like, what's Drake gonna bring out? Fucking
He got some
best
some
I ever
records he can
had,
bring out.
but then like Hove is gonna destroy you. But that's just personally on me. If the Drake crowd's in there, like he probably would win, honestly.
Drake got records he can play. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen people also say Wayne, but I don't really agree on Wayne. But
Speaking of Wayne did actually have a performance on the show too, and probably was my second favorite performance of the whole thing. I mean, Wayne is a performer. It's funny, like the the accumulation of the whole show, and like they had like Curtis Blow, who's like the beginning of hip hop, and like the run throughout all them, and seeing the performances of like some of these legends are rapping over vocals and just like doing this, like they're letting the crowd do. I'm like, you guys are acting like some of the young people you guys are yelling about. But then like Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick came out, and Dougie Fresh started hitting that beatbox like it was 1988, and Slick Rick was rapping, and I was like, this is hip, like who, like this is crazy, like this is no music, no nothing, just two rappers rapping like rap began, and this is how you do it. Like nobody could compete with that. That's why these legends are these legends. So it's like a big balance. But yeah, Lil Wayne killed it. He does have a lot of hits also, but his like he got like mixtape stuff, so like it's different. You know what I mean? It's different. I don't know. He didn't play a lot of the mix. He played like the hits and like Lollipop and A Milli and 6'7", like all that shit went crazy. Corey Guns came out and fucking destroyed it. He heard the tweets. He saw them tweets, and he came out and he was like, "All right, yeah."
Word to my mama, I spit the llama.
Yeah,
Come on, bro.
Straight up.
Stop playing with Corey Guns, bro. Stop playing with
out of
Corey
my
Guns.
llama beam. Don't he hating on you?
Stop playing. I didn't see any of the concert. I've only seen like the clips. But no, that every time I see that clip of Dougie hitting like the whole dance where he's doing like the running man, hitting I'm like, yo, Dougie, come on, man, it's culture, bro, man.
Yeah. So the funniest thing I thought is I watched the whole show, and only one rapper got mad about his time and was yelling at the people and just kept going. Could you take a guess? Just one rapper. Like everybody was like, they did their sets, they did their 4 or 5 songs and got out of there. This rapper got up there and had a bunch of hits, and they were telling him it was time to go, and he was like, "Hey, no, fuck that. I'm staying on stage."
Was it Bus?
No. Good guess though. It was Cameron.
Of course it was Cameron. Of course. No, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta give me my allotted time, because if y'all gonna give it up for hip hop, I gotta get my time to give it up to hip hop. Y'all can't just take me off stage.
You haven't seen it, but you got it pretty much verbatim.
Yo, exactly. I just know him. Like I'm just sitting there picturing them like pacing back and forth. No, y'all not gonna disrespect me on the stage.
That's
Shout out to Cam,
exactly
man.
What happened. I'm like, Cam is the
Cam,
greatest. Like I was thinking, like as the show was going, because he's pretty deep into the show. It's like everything's going by too well here. Like one of these rappers was gonna have to do something. Here comes Cam, and he did like an extended set. He had like 8 to 10 songs. Like Lupe played early in the show. Oh, that's what I wanted to say too. It's so funny. At beginning of Lupe's set, he's like, "Oh, because they're in New York." He's like, "Let's shout out to the greatest city in the world, New York." I'm like,
what?
yeah, Lupe says that on the show. Shout out to the greatest city in the world, New York. Lupe Fiasco, Phil, your guy says this on the show. He's pandering out here.
Did he do like Go Go Gadget Flow where he outright says that best city in the whole wide world is right here in Chicago, Illinois?
He conveniently left that song off the set. I haven't seen disappointment like this on Phil in a while.
I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, hold on a minute. I heard this guy say that Chicago is the best city in the whole wide world. Why is he saying New York is the best city in the world? It's pandering. I get it. That's where hip hop was born.
He felt the vibe coming over him. The same vibe that came over J. Cole when he was like,
exactly.
He was like 50 Cent's album is the best album ever. And it's like, all right, bro. Like I know we're in the moment. Adrenaline's rushing, but all right, bro.
Sometimes you're just feeling it. You're going in. You're on stage with 50 Cent. He got the old G Unit vest on, and you're just like, yo, get rich or die trying was it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to post that clip up for you. I forgot I've been wanting to post that clip all week so I can laugh, but it's even better saying it here on the show and seeing your disappointment.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
But yeah, great show. If you guys have 8 hours set aside and watch a bunch of hip hop,
you got 8 hours to set aside.
Go for it. Great. Lauryn Hill came out on time with Nas.
I seen it.
She destroyed it. She was rapping like it was 1996. I was like, hey, yo.
I seen the clip. She had her the Serena beads in. You know?
Yep. You know what time it was, and it was exactly that time. She was on that time. Really dope. It reminded me of the Dave Chappelle's Block Party, where they had that Fuji performance, and damn, that was such a good show. I'm gonna have to pull that movie up. Maybe
great movie.
Such a great movie.
Great movie. Yeah, I was not at home after we recorded. I went to Sox game.
Oh, that's right. How was that?
Sox game was a lot of fun. Sox suck, so of course, as a South Sider and Chicagoan, I have to accept the fact that most of our teams suck. And so I was sitting there for like the first few innings, like, oh man, we might have a win. We had 2 points. I was like, we might have a win. Then just let these guys come out and run off 3 points in the inning. I was like, well, so much for that.
Who was it against?
The Milwaukee Brewers. So yeah,
unfortunate. I mean, you got to go and rep Chicago. It looks beautiful outside on the picture.
Very nice.
So,
very nice day out. I thought it was in classic fashion for my guy. As soon as I came out the game, first thing I saw was all of his clips.
I forgot that happened last Saturday.
And I was just
too much be going on.
I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And of course, everybody was sending me what he was saying, and I was just like, what is this? And so when I looked at it, I was like, oh.
Because the first person I sent it to, I know, was Philip Lindsay. Look at this. I said, uh-oh, actually.
Yeah, I was like, oh, here we go. Yeah.
I forgot about that, dude. That's how long this week has been. Like, that whole controversy has kind of been overlapped by all this other stuff going on, like wrestling, man. Jesus.
Boy, when I tell you that I could not be any more tired of talking about CM Punk drama.
The most tired, Phil.
I just don't want to do it anymore, guys.
I legit turned my phone off, and I sent it to you in a text message because I don't want to talk about it on Twitter. I just want to laugh for 1 second.
This is what I was saying when it was happening. I was like, look, it is what it is at this point. When you brought the guy back, you knew what you were getting into.
And he's doing exactly what they said he was going to do.
I just don't want to keep overanalyzing everything the guy does. Then we got to go into this news cycle where this report comes out, and then this report comes out that contradicts that report, and then there's another report. Everybody's trying to spin their narratives, and it's just like, I just don't care, guys. Get back to the wrestling. Get back to the graps.
Please. And the backstage stuff. How often can we analyze something we know nothing about? We just hearing he say, she say. I don't want it. I don't want it anymore. I just want to talk about.
Want to do it. We've been doing this for a legit year.
It's a year now.
Man. I don't want to do it anymore, man. It's just stop it, man.
It's actually over a year because it started before Double or Nothing, pretty much. Like, you guys, I can't anymore.
Yeah, come on, man. Like, and I mean, I've seen all of the, oh well. well, he sent this guy home. He sent that guy home. And I was like, okay, why do we need to know this? My immediate thought.
Do not
Why?
think you need to know this.
Why do we need to know any of this stuff? The whole argument he got into with Jack. Why do we need to know this?
Do not need to know it.
I don't care.
Like I didn't even know the
care,
I
man.
saw the story about Jack. I don't even know the specifics because I was like, I just don't care, man.
Well, I guess I can get into what the story is. Jack wanted to record something on the Collision week because I guess he was going to be off TV the following week. So he couldn't record it on Dynamite because I don't know the specifics. I think he was going on vacation because remember he had those Hawaii pictures up like the next week. So I think he was going on his vacation and he needed to film the pre-tape at Collision. He wanted to do something where he needed to break glass with the Hook feud, and they decided it would be too dangerous because he wanted to use real glass. I guess they didn't have fake glass or something.
What was he gonna do? Hit himself over the head with a bottle or something?
It had to do with Lacar because remember they kept doing those Hook and Jack segments where he run away from him and hop in his car, and so to write him off, they did the whole thing in the car with the glass. And so I guess there was an argument backstage about him not using real glass, and it got smoothed over. It got worked out. Blah 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 blah. My whole thing is once it got worked out, why do we need to know about it? Like, if it got worked out, who cares? And it was the same thing with the Hangman thing. Punk goes out there and he cuts the promo after Collision. It's pretty close to all of the stuff he's been doing after Collision where he tried to rile the crowd up or, do something nice. And so he's been doing this thing after shows where he plays into people that are booing him. And so right after the show, this was a very pro Hangman crowd. He saw a few Hangman signs. And so he made some jokes on Hangman and people took it serious. And I was like, all right, I don't think he's really shooting. I think he is doing what he's been doing. I think he's trolling. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's too soon to troll with Hangman because this is a touchy subject, very touchy subject. Mm-hmm. No bridges have been mended here. People still, I'm of the opinion that, there's still beef with the guy. There's still tension there, clearly. And so...
But that's another thing because we don't know that.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean?
The assumption is there's still tension there, of course. But
definitely.
So for him to do this, people are like, "Oh, here he go again, burying Hangman," and I'm like, "All right, I think this is a joke, guys." And so I didn't comment on it at all. But then we get a few days later that he apologized to him. So I'm like, again, why are we making such a big deal out of this stuff? Let these things iron themselves out. We don't have to
we make them worse.
We don't have to overanalyze these.
We're on the side instigating all the time, like, oh yeah, you better beat him up, Hangman. He said that about you.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, I don't agree with some of the stuff that's being said. I don't agree with stuff like him, of course, sending people home. Do I think it's very funny that he sent Hollywood Hunk home? Yes, I do. Just the fact that he sent him home and then ironically came on TV with the SAG actors strike shirt on. Hilarious.
And then the next Dynamite, Hot Young Briley was featured on the Ring of Honor taping. You can't make this up. It's irony at this point.
Look.
Sent him home, and then he came back on the Ring of Honor show, you guys.
Yeah, I seen that. I thought that was very funny. There were other things I thought that were funny about it, but as I tweeted when this stuff was happening, I was like, "There's so many jokes I want to make, but people take these things so seriously, and you just can't." But some of this was very funny to me. Some of it was like, I just don't understand why we're over analyzing these things and arguing amongst ourselves as fans about something that does not affect us. I didn't get it, man. It was just a lot of nonsense. And again, I am very tired of talking about Punk drama. Just get back to the wrestling, man. I just don't want to talk about it. The whole him sending Daniel home, I'm like, I don't really understand it. Seems pretty petty to me, but.
And then stepping on the whole Samoa Joe thing, because the Samoa Joe angle was hot too, and then it made people talk about this and said,
I did get a good laugh this week with everything going on. because the Ace Steel stuff got brought up again. Um, and I was just like, nah, man. Cash was in their car, like, nah, I'm gonna show y'all what time it is. Ace can't be in the building, but I show him the steel.
Oh, man, damn. Absolutely not. No. Listen.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? Nah. No flips, just clips, homie. You know what I mean?
Wanted to be hands off. I want it to be hands off. That's it. I want it to be hands off. It's too touchy of a subject, you guys. Let's get into some super chats. I'm sure you guys
immediately in a super chat.
Yeah, let's go right to the super chat. Jake Salazar says, "We up, Phil. Tetsuya Naito is your G1 Climax winner. Drop the bombs. And 6-star Naito, the world is great. Naito, of course, winning the G1 Climax this year. A 6-star match, back-to-back with the 5.5-star match. 11.5 stars in 2 days. Wrestling, beautiful."
Yeah, G1 was it was a rocky journey getting there for some of this booking wise for some people, but I thought the finals was good. I thought the last 2 matches of the tournament were very good. And yeah, Naito is our 2023 G1 Climax winner.
Went out with 2 classics.
Got the big win over Kazuchika Okada in the finals. Very, very good match. Okada was on that time last weekend. Definitely healing it up in that match. Mm-hmm. He did several things. I don't know, man. I enjoy Okada a lot as a babyface, but I just really enjoy him as a heel, man. Mm-hmm. Heel Okada is just incredible, man. He was doing a lot of things in that match that I thought were really funny. But yeah, a lot happened on that show, and also like we got some more of the Ren and Shota feud going. We got more of Bullet Club against the Tongans and LP. We got a pretty big upset, and Suji pinned Will Ospreay, and so it seems like he's going to be the next guy to challenge for the UK title, not the United States Championship.
Yep, been changed.
Yeah, we also got more Hanare, Eddie Kingston stuff. They set up a lot of stuff on this show. We got a new challenger for Sonata, and it seems like Evil will be his next challenger. I don't know what to make of that, but I'm still thinking the destination for Sonata is probably Sonata versus Naito at Wrestle Kingdom.
So you think, again, Sonata's going to make it all the way to January?
Yes.
With this championship?
Yes.
Okay. I believe it. Shout out to Naito. Shout out to Okada for continuing to be Okada, and him being in the finals every year makes so much sense because he's the ace of New Japan. He is New Japan, so beating him always is a big victory. So Jake Salazar also says, some of y'all take that sensitivity and stay on Dynamite. This Collision, baby. All my guys with the real Gun Club. Colliders unite. The real Gun Club, they say.
Yeah, you got to relax a little bit, man.
Please.
You got to relax a little bit, Jake.
Please relax, Jake. Take it easy, you guys. Chris says, I think Dynamite needs Punk because look at Arthur Ashe, not selling well at all.
This wasn't the best week for Dynamite. I mean, the collision this week was okay. This wasn't one of the best collisions either. But
tough week.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. Homeboy Van Twinblade says, to quote Nash from Radio Dead Air, what the F is wrong with you? A gun is not a remote control for life. Jesus Christ, gun culture needs to go, man. Agreed. Reggie Simmons says, the opening theme music always hits. What's up, Grapsody fam? Thank you, Reggie, always for being in this chat, never chat, and all the support. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of gun culture, even though I just made a joke about it. I'm not a fan of gun culture. I am not a big believer in even owning a gun.
Right.
But you know,
it's like one of those. What do you call it? like I'd make jokes about it because it hurt so bad, type of things. Pretty much, like it's so like gun culture has been so awful to life.
Yeah,
that it's just like I got to joke about it because it's so terrible.
The anecdote I put on Twitter, I saw a lot of people respond and go, "Oh man, that's horrible. I hate that happened to you." And I'm like, that was years ago. It's one of those things that I now joke about because I'm like, oh well, that's the thing that happened.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you don't have Twitter, I should explain. Somebody somebody said the fact that people act like getting a gun flashed on you is normal is such an American thing, and I was like, oh no, I've seen a gun several times in my life. Somebody pulled a gun on me randomly when I was walking down the street because it was dark and they thought I was somebody else. And when they got close enough and they saw me, they were like, oh, and they put it away and were like, my bad. And I was like, oh, okay, just that's the thing that happens. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, that's what your life could be like an O can change like that. But yeah, we don't. Like I made a joke and someone was like, "Oh, does that?" When I was like, "Oh, I saw a shooting 3 weeks ago," like that. And somebody was like, "Oh, that doesn't make it okay." And I was like, "I never. How could I possibly?"
Nobody's saying that.
Yeah, how could I possibly try to make
nobody's saying that
gun talk okay, dude? Like, relax. Van Twinblade says, "Righteous Reg is now Righteous Ref." Maybe because my shirt I got with the ref stripes and the pink stripes in there mixed in. Yep, I have refereed a couple matches in real life too because I do that. Taylor Cannon says, I love that opening theme. Thank you, Taylor. I really appreciate it. That's
Taylor Gang.
One, again, probably my most listened to rap I've ever done because a lot of people have listened to Grapsody way more than have listened to my music at this point. So shout out to the show for that. Daryl Fenderson says, always late, not gonna lie, theme bangs at 1.5 speed. Everybody saying something about the theme today is really great, man. Thank you guys for shouting out the theme. Also played a very vital role to the show, I think.
We had a minute trying to start because getting this theme on and the timing of it. So hey, worked out, I guess.
It did work out. It people noticed. But yeah, like we told before, like when Will was like, let's do a Zoom or we did a call together. Do you guys want to do this podcast? I'm with Fightful. We all said yeah. The same day I went and did that. Like when I was driving home, I thought of it's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg trying to keep it real instead, like that same day. And then I went and recorded it and I sent it to the guys, and it's been that from the beginning. So it's pretty important to this podcast too. Jack Witt says it's 2 a.m. here in Brisbane and I'm very drunk, so sorry if incoherent, but for the first ever super chat, I thought I'd ask my two favorite podcasters if fans today are taking today's wrestling landscape for granted. Thanks for staying up super late with us and getting lit out here. But yeah, Phil, do you think that fans today take the wrestling landscape for granted? And thanks for saying we're your two favorite podcasters. That's super dope to hear.
High praise. I do. I think that we are a little bit spoiled, man. We get a lot of we got a lot more wrestling, and we have more access to good wrestling. Not just wrestling. We have a lot more access to good wrestling, and I think some of the things that people complain about is just kind of like, like I mean.
Like the good wrestling is why they complain. Like they're complaining about Wembley and like Kenny Omega not having a one-on-one match when he had two of the best matches of the year against Will Ospreay, where they both almost died. It's like that happened this year, but people are like more. It's just like music, man. Like you could drop a hit, but now it used to be like you could ride a hit for 2 years, 5 years. Now it's like, no, I need another hit, bro. It's been a month.
Yeah. Shout out to Base Martian. Oh man, listen, man. Jokes are funny, man.
I mean, if we make jokes about John Morant, we're going to make jokes about old Cash Wheeler because they on the same type of energy. They was like, this brother was riding through in a Jeep or something, just flashing on people. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing?
What are you doing, pal? What are you doing? What are you doing over there, pal?
I'll show you what I'm doing over here. got the toolie on me, brother.
You know what I'm saying? Keep a burner on me. Shout out to Durant.
I know that Cash Ruler was going to be with the shits. Like, when
man.
they say, I didn't know that was going to be on my bingo card for the week. 1000% I wasn't expecting. One half of FTR is going to get arrested for brandishing a firearm.
But yeah, no, to answer that question, I do think fans are a little bit spoiled. I do think I don't know, man. I feel like wrestling is better than it's ever been in some ways, and I think
1,000,000%.
yeah, I think the way people complain about certain things is just like it just all right, relax. And I think the all in stuff is kind of on that level. I think people have hyped this thing up to be bigger than it really needs to be in their minds. And so it's like if it doesn't live up to this expectation that I'm setting for it, then it's a letdown. And you haven't even seen the show yet, but you're just deciding it's a letdown. Oh, Kenny's not wrestling one-on-one. Throw the whole thing away. And it's like, I mean, he is, wrestling one of his oldest rivals. Kota Ibushi is in this match, also wrestling one of his oldest rivals. All these things that are colliding in this thing. And I don't know, but people are like, that match isn't a big deal. That's a Dynamite match. I'm like, what? That's a Dynamite match? Really? Okay.
Is it? Like, what Dynamite is that? Because it's like, but that's the thing.
But
Phil,
that's the other thing.
Dynamite has been such heat that people say, like, they've given us so many dream matches that when they see a dream match, people say that's a Dynamite match. Like, that's how great wrestling is that great wrestling. We're like, we need greater than great wrestling. And like, everyone is spoiled, myself included. I come on this podcast and complain about things all the time. Like, that's how this thing works half the time. But like, we sometimes have to sit back and just look and be like, damn, I saw Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega wrestle. Shibata is back in wrestling as the pure champion when his brain was taken out of his head. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's all these great moments that happen, and it's so condensed. It's so much of it that it seems crazy, but we need to sit back and do it. But yeah, everyone does take it for granted. Sometimes people don't even know it, but I think it's a good problem to have, honestly. Like, you're gonna complain, like, okay, like, there's just gonna be more good wrestling. People are gonna complain about All In, then All In's gonna happen, and at the end of it, people are gonna be like, holy shit, that was a crazy show,
Yeah.
So
just gotta get there, I guess, at this point, because
a
lot of stuff happening, man.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get into how we're getting there. Anime Otaku 2, our friend, shout out to you, says Lupe doing the Mick Foley gimmick. Thumbs up. Yeah, no, he tried to get that hometown pop. That's all it was.
definitely looking for the hometown pop, man.
He's like, I know where I'm at right now, yo. Yes Boy says, did it benefit Cash that his case was in Florida?
I don't know. I don't know enough about the legal, so I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure it's not great flashing a gun in any state, but
yeah, man, he knows what time it is. He's got Urameshi as his logo, flashing up that spirit gun.
Yes. Glassdoor Gamer says Jericho gonna silence haters.
Boy, I am not excited for that match.
Can you count that win though? Like, that's like me. It's like when I complain about Bray Wyatt, and then the people are like, "Well, what about the match of Bryan Danielson?" It's Bryan fucking Danielson. He can have a great match with anybody. You can't be like, "Well, he silenced the haters. He had a great match with Will Ospreay, who has 29, 30, 50 5-star matches."
Look, I'm not doubting that this can be a good match, but if you ask me going into this show, who would I like to see Will Ospreay wrestle in Wembley Stadium? It wasn't Chris Jericho.
No.
Sorry.
Not at all. Not even in the top 30, maybe. I could have named 30 other people.
I don't know if top 30. Top 30 is a lot of wrestlers, but it's definitely like I could name 5 wrestlers.
Damn, Action Andretti, I could have seen.
I don't know if I would say top 30, but I like off the top of my head, I know I can throw out 5 wrestlers like that. Those are matches I would rather see.
30, I promise you.
30. I don't know about 30, but
I can come up with 30 names right now
on the AEW roster.
Zero research on the AEW roster that would destroy. But the thing is, like, Jericho can work. We've seen it when he was Ring of Honor champion. He did stuff. He's had matches like there's no doubt in our mind that Jericho can put together a great match. And if you have one of the best dance partners in the planet on the other side, it's not going to be that hard. So yeah, I don't doubt it. He is going to silence the haters. Glassdoor gamer. Vasco says, "Did you hear about All In breaking the record?" That's a good thing to talk about, right?
Yeah, I saw that this morning. I saw people talking that up.
Pretty
That
crazy, man. Pretty
that is
crazy. Like,
that is specifically the record for the highest attendance for a pro wrestling show in Europe. Um, yeah, that's a huge deal for a company that has only been around for 4 years. When you think
y'all
about
don't understand, you guys. I've been watching wrestling for 30 years at this point, and no one has done anything like WCW did like a crazy show in North Korea, but like none of those fans paid a dime. That was a set
propaganda show,
show, propaganda show. It's a Saudi show.
yo, precursor to Saudi shows.
It's precursor to the Saudi show. That's exactly what it was. And so there's been like giant shows that have happened outside of WWF, WWE before and during and not too much after, but the shows, all the records are WWE. The whole time it's always been the big shows have been this. So for a company that's only been around less than 5 years, started as a t-shirt brand with a bunch of indie wrestlers doing flips, and for them to sell out, not even sell out, but for them to sell 80,000 tickets to a wrestling show that most of those tickets that were sold, nobody knew any of the matches. Like they sold like 70,000 of them with zero matches announced just off of the name AEW being there. So it's monumental. I know people are like putting whatever you could talk about it, put whatever stipulations, compare. WWE also sold a gigantic amount of tickets yesterday. Shout out to them. They are destroying it. But that's what they always do. Like nobody's surprised about that. So for another company to come and do that, it's huge, man. And that shows next week. It's going down.
Yeah, next week. Your boys will be doing the post show for that.
Don't forget.
Don't forget to check us out live on Fightful's YouTube channel right after the show.
Yep. Albert Ponce says Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy happened and Real One invades New Japan Pro Wrestling. What in the bloody hell, you guys? And can we get Brian Keith in AEW or Impact, please?
Yeah, somebody's got to sign Brian Keith, man. He's
I'm
a very
working on
special
it.
talent. Somebody's got to sign this guy, man.
I'm
I'm
working
surprised
on
it
it, brother.
hasn't happened yet.
I don't know. Every time I see him, I saw him at West Coast Pro last week, have like 5 matches, and I was like, why am I seeing him here and not on TV? So he's gonna be on TV soon. I bet my house on it that I don't own. But yeah, there was a lot of other wild wrestling stuff. We're gonna get into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match very soon. So Steph the writer says, tell the truth. Your BCC partners, seriously, who do you want to see them bring in as the mystery partners for the BCC in the newly announced Stadium Stampede match happening at All In? Who you got, Phil?
Well, it's not going to be us because I'm
It's
pretty
not
sure
gonna be us.
I'm pretty sure my passport is expired, and so
Yeah.
well, I will not be on a plane to London.
I have a passport though, so I mean I maybe could show up. So I could potentially be one of the partners. I'm not taking my name out of the hat.
Who do I think it's going to be? Don't know.
In the story, that's what I've been trying to think about. Like in the story, who would make the most sense? Because you're joining the BCC against, like there's a lot of stories already entwined in there, and like just like bringing in a random tag team to be in there wouldn't make a lot of sense, you know? Like,
Yeah, I see a lot of people in our chat saying Ortiz, Santana, and they do. I believe they did have beef before Santana got injured, because they did do that long storyline with Eddie that kind of didn't go anywhere.
oh,
So-
that's right. I forgot about that.
So maybe this is their way of bringing them back and putting them back on TV. Maybe they're 2 of the guys that are going to be in the match, but I don't know who the third guy will be if it's them.
Yeah, that because Pac is injured again. We've
Yeah.
heard we don't know when he's gonna be back. It's gonna be a mystery for sure, and I'm kind of interested to see the setup of the arena and how they are going to play this match with all those fans inside there. Like how, like most of the stadium stampedes have been in an empty stadium. Like, are they gonna film it before, or like what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. I don't think that they filmed it before because there's no way you do a stadium stampede and you get that big of a crowd and you don't want to get the crowd reacting to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna play this out, but I am interested.
Yep. Patch Rick says, Cash Bond Wheeler. Also, the theme might not be your most played song for much longer that you have a song in a video game, Reg. You know, I didn't think about that, bro. You are very correct. Like, I do have a song in a video game that could potentially, I don't know how many people have played that video game, but I'm sure it's J. Cole and 21 Savage a lot. So, yeah, you're right. Thank you. The Glorious One says All In is not AEW's WrestleMania. All Out is their WrestleMania, and All In got overhyped by the fans when they assumed an Omega versus Punk when AEW announced FTR versus the Bucks.
Let's get into that because somebody tweeted me a few days ago, and they said, "Man, they never put Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins or those guys in a tag match at WrestleMania." And my response was, "This isn't WrestleMania." And somebody was like, "Well, what is it?" It ain't WrestleMania, man. You guys have to stop comparing everything to the way that WWE does things because it's just not the same. Like the way that WWE books for WrestleMania is unique because it's their biggest show of the year. This is considered their biggest show in the year in terms of attendance, but it's not treated as their biggest show of the year in terms of like how it's been positioned, how it's been booked, none of that. You've got a pay-per-view the week afterwards. There's no way you're booking WrestleMania and then booking a pay-per-view the week afterwards. That's the difference in presentation here. And so I just don't think it's an apt comparison. People
I might have
it.
sound wild on Twitter, but I said that the card is more based like a Saudi show than WrestleMania. As in, you see, the cards that they do at those Saudi shows, they're like, it's like the greatest Royal Rumble match and Goldberg's here, and it's like a WWE tribute show, like a WWE, like it's like these fans don't get shows all the time, so we're gonna give them like the hits, and that's what All In is compared to All Out. It's gonna be a celebration of AEW and the hits, a lot of the hits, and a lot of. So you're getting Kenny Omega, you're getting the Young Bucks, but you're not getting them in these big, like it's just different. You can't compare it to WrestleMania. And ain't nobody have a WrestleMania. AEW has their own shows. No one in the world. It's WrestleMania, bro.
Like I don't
AEW's WrestleMania. Nobody's WrestleMania.
I wouldn't even compare All Out to WrestleMania. Like WrestleMania is its own thing. It is called the greatest spectacle in sports entertainment for a reason. There's only one WrestleMania. Like it'd be like me like deciding, all right, well, WWE's got to start booking a Wrestle Kingdom. Like they're not going to do Wrestle Kingdom. Like
exactly,
Wrestle Kingdom is unique to New Japan, just like WrestleMania is very unique to what WWE does. I don't really like that comparison, but I know people have to do these things to compare one thing to the other.
Compares everything.
I think All In is supposed to be like this celebration of what All In meant the first time around 5 years later, and how far the company has come. I think the best stuff they've done booking wise with All In is when they've given us nods back to the original All In, like Britt coming out in a lab coat this week that she wore at All In and earning a spot in the 4-way, getting that kind of callback. I think that's good booking stuff because again, that's a celebration of what All In was. Max making it known, like his story of how he got booked for All In this week in that promo, and him going from being on the pre-show that year and then coming back and main eventing All In this year as champion. Those kind of stories are things that I think makes this All In feel more special. Like, I mean, even if you look at, and I'm sure somebody will be like, "Oh, you're just connecting dots. This is just headcanon." Even if you just look at the Kenny Omega stuff. Kenny being on the All In card, and at the time where he was with Bullet Club, and still being leader of Bullet Club firmly, and getting to where we are with Jay White, and coming back to All In and facing former leader of Bullet Club that is now Bullet Club in this company. That's just connecting. I don't know if y'all remember that first All In. No, that was essentially a Bullet Club pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was.
And so, no, man.
That's what people were like billing it as, like, oh, they gave the Bullet Club their own pay-per-view.
Yeah. Like all that stuff where like it references like the history of this company and what All In meant to the history of the company. That's the stuff that I think makes the show feel special. The fact that it's their first international show, the fact that it's going to be this massive 80,000 plus crowd. Um, no, this is going to be a memorable show, but people hyping it up to be, oh, it's got to be the greatest show in the history of the
End all
company.
be all.
It's not going to live up to that hype, guys. You got to stop doing it, man. It's not going to live up to that, man. And I've seen people like, well, why are they billing it as the biggest show in wrestling history? Because it's a wrestling promotion, and that's what wrestling promotions do. They promote things, they build things up like this hyperbole. It's what wrestling companies do. How long y'all been watching wrestling, man?
Exactly. I heard 93,000 at WrestleMania 3 in the Super Silverdome so many times, and that wasn't true. That's just like what they say.
Yeah, no, I just don't believe in the hype, buddy.
Don't believe the hype. Jake Salazar also says Will Ospreay from 6 stars to half a star thanks to Jericho.
I wouldn't say all that. It's probably going to be a decent match. It'll probably be a good match, but
and Meltzer's rating it, so
it's going.
He probably get 5. He'll probably get Jericho 5.
He's sprinkling stars all over that joint.
He already said so. Somebody said on his show that Dave said that match is going to be like Brett and the British Bulldog, and I'm like, what? Because Chris Jericho's going to do crack the night before, or what? Deontay Swindler says, Swindlers, I can never get your last name right, Deontay, because I'm always trying to get a joke off.
Try to call this guy Swindler, Dante the Swindler.
Dante the Swindler, that's your name now. Dante Swindler says, AEW 80K, let's effing go. Love seeing wrestling thrive. Stardom 5-star Grand Prix, been awesome. Tam been champ after beating what is it? Megasis. Y'all be easy, guys. Appreciate that, Deontay.
Yeah, look, man. Megan Bain has been a good addition over there.
Oh, Megan Bain, she's good.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about, the Megasis. Okay. Right. She's been a good addition over there. Like going over there straight away and getting a big world title match with Tam is big for her. So when she does eventually come back to the States, I think she's going to get a lot of opportunities. She was starting to get them right before she got hurt. So I'm glad to see this. I'm glad that she's come back in a big way.
Yeah, she looks good over there. Powerful, big. She was one of those ones that before her injury, I was like, oh, yeah, she's on her way. So I imagine she's back on her way. Glassdoor Gamer says ROH women's division is fire. Yeah, the ROH TV show had 5 women's matches on it. So they are always loading it up with that. Athena is, of course, the ROH MVP. She's killing it. Billy Starks is now joined. The Renegade Twins are out there. Trisha Dora, Lady Frost got a big win this week. It's pretty tight over there. Tony Khan is trying to pay for some of his sins of his main roster stuff over there in the Ring of Honor women's division. So if you guys haven't seen it, definitely catch up on it.
Deontay is telling you that you pronounce his last name Soigné, kind of like Wanye from Boys to Men.
Thanks, Deontay. You've been supporting for all 98 episodes of here and finally got your name right. So Soigné, I'll remember because Wanye. That's how Boys to Men. We can, it's history. Anime Otaku also says if we ever see FTR versus the Acclaimed again, they're gonna have to have shenanigans to stop the rap, or Max is gonna take some stiff shots. Yeah, there's a couple of things that like he's lucky there aren't in a feud with the Acclaim right now because he would be getting flamed today. He still might. Like if Max gets a mic and is rapping somewhere, he still might throw a stray, but he's going to get off pretty easy. It's interesting that tonight they're actually going to have a talking segment with this man that has been all in the news cycle all day yesterday. So it's going to be interesting. Rovan F2 says, All In to me seems like a look at us now kind of show in a good way. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then our last super chat for now, Dorian E says, what do you guys think of Asuka's tweets last weekend? She has known been super outspoken in Japan like Punk or Hart and made a lot of enemies. Yeah, what do you think about that, Phil?
Very disappointed that my fave is not on TV as much and she is no longer champion, but boy, she was getting her shit off on Twitter, man.
All the way off.
I was enjoying it from afar. Her like basically like, nah, man. I had to do this by myself. I had to do it. I had to go and promote myself and get myself over here to WWE because promotions was starting to destroy me personally.
Oscar's
Not
like, the ops are trying to get me out of here.
ops was ganging up together to get me up out of here, but couldn't do it. Look, man, Kind of Mania is still a classic show. Her match with Mako Satomura is one of those things that put her on the map, in my opinion. Before she came over here, of course, the stuff she did with Shimmer. Um, man, you gotta respect it, man. You gotta respect the fact that she did go through some stuff over there, and she still came out of it one of the hottest Japanese wrestlers in the world, and had a pretty good career here in America based off of that. Because that could have easily went in another direction for her.
So easily. And it's interesting because this is a kind of another one of those situations where people are being like, well, why is she saying all that? Why is she doing all that? It's like personal experience. People get to express how
Man.
they went. The ops were on her head, as she said. So she's going to come out and let them out.
Speak your truth, man. Look, she was if that's how she feels, that's how she feels. I don't know what sparked all of this. I have definitely seen her going back and forth with fans, and fans can be fans.
Oscar had time. That's all it was.
She has been blocking people. Your boy Elon is trying to mess up the party for all of us. But let me tell you, man, if I can no longer have block parties, boy, I don't know.
If I can't block Phil, I like this. A lot of straws, I think, have broke the camel's back, but I keep coming back. I'm like, all right, but not being able to block people is the line has been crossed.
Yeah, nah.
I can't exist in that space because there's some crazies out there. And if they're just being crazy, can't.
I need my block feature, man. But yeah, no, all of this just proves just how interesting Asuka is and why she doesn't need to go out and cut all of the long promos in English and all this other stuff to get over.
I don't want that.
She's already so interesting, and it's just so weird that they just don't seem to know how to book her as a character. Like, they'll give her accolades, they'll put her in good matches, but they just don't seem to know what to do with her as a character on the main roster.
It seemed like after she made the switch this year with the paint and all this, and it was like, oh, she's going to cook again, and then they just didn't know. They were like, oh, she looks cool, but what else? We don't know what to do with her at all.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, she looks cool. She's still doing the mist again. But that's it. We don't have a character for her. We don't have a storyline for her, really, which sucks.
So yeah, Asuka got her stuff all the way off, rightfully so, and she made a career out of it, and she was all right. So shout out to Asuka. Yeah, that's all of this super chats for now. Appreciate everybody for donating. Appreciate everybody for liking and sending thumbs up, and also sending in Humber chats. I don't know if we have those, but shout out to y'all for that too.
I'm pretty sure we have Humper chats. I'm just waiting for the screen to come back up.
Humpers. We got one more super chat while you're pulling it up. JF Gator says, while I agree the drama around the card is overblown, this should be prioritized as the biggest show. Odds are AEW never has a gate this large again.
I don't know if I would go through.
I don't think that's true. That's not true.
But I do think that there is fair criticism with the way that they've booked the show and how they prioritize some of the stuff they've put on TV for the last few weeks.
But that feels like now it's just an AEW thing that like I was just saying that for the Ring of Honor. Like this is just how this fool books these shows at this point. Because like,
yeah, we'll get into it some more when we talk about Dynamite.
Jeez,
but some of the stuff that they've been prioritizing on TV in the weeks leading up to the show are very random.
Bro, Rampage was better than Dynamite this week. That's a real statement from Righteous Reg. Cut and print it.
I mean, Rampage did have a fire lucha match on it.
I mean, Spot Food gun in there. I'm like, hey, yo, that match was crazy, though. If you have not seen Rey Fenix and Commander from last night's Rampage, you need to go out of your way to see it. It's one of those classic Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis, Rey Mysterio versus Juventud, back in the day bangers that starts the show. These guys were Spot Food personified, doing all the wild shit you can. Springboard, Canadian destroyers, Commanders walking the ropes. Phoenix is just the most fantastic luchador in the world. He's just so crazy at the way that he moves, so fearless in the way that he executes spots. They both were trying to kill each other. Excalibur told a great story on how Commander was pretty much inspired to get into wrestling by Phoenix and Penta. So this was a dream match of his. Execution was great. Is setting up, I guess, this Phoenix and John Moxley match that's going to happen on Dynamite. But yeah, if you haven't seen this match, go and watch it. It's a Righteous Reg approved, certified spot food classic for sure.
Yeah, really good match. I thought the women's match we got on Rampage was also better than the women's match we got on Dynamite.
And that Aussie Open and Zay and Ethan Page match hit too. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, I feel like that women's match probably should have been on Dynamite.
Yeah.
This was one of those weeks where, if you were gonna do 2 women's matches on Dynamite, it made sense to put those 2 women's matches on Dynamite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't.
But it's what it is. Get into some humpers from the man Tony P. Cash's actions were disappointing to hear about, but damn, the jokes we got Chef Kiss. In a sad way, we needed those jokes after all the discord this week. Also, don't miss the days of WWE fans versus AEW fans. All In has AEW fans on Twitter going at it like black on black crime. It's been kind of crazy out here. On the Cash stuff, if we want to specifically,
we haven't really got into it. We just kind of made jokes about it so far.
Yeah, on the Cash stuff, but of course, past jokes and the serious part about it. It's unfortunate that A, this happened, and then B, it's just the timing is just so awful. Just not just with All In coming up, but what FDR has been doing on TV. FDR has been killing it on Collision. This reign has turned around in a lot of ways because of Collision, and they've been doing what they do best as a tag team.
Facts.
And this just kind of came out of nowhere. The news is that it actually happened in July, and nobody knew about it, which is kind of crazy.
I was gonna say the craziest part for me is it seems like people in AEW, couple people that I talked to, they were under the impression that yesterday when he got arrested was the thing, but it had already been this had already been established. He had the warrant out, he had all this stuff, so it seemed like a big shock. It didn't seem like this happened and AEW was keeping it under the rug or trying to wait on to the match. It seems like they found out the news like we did.
Right. Of course he got arrested yesterday. Which getting up first thing in the morning and seeing that this guy got arrested was what is going on?
Seeing a mugshot right when you wake up of one half of FTR is a wild way to start the day.
Yeah. But of course he was arrested. He got in front of I don't want to say a judge, not in front of a judge yet, but he did his affidavit yesterday. And that was everywhere. Of course, we had everyone trying to get their updates as it happened. Doesn't sound like they're telling him he can't not leave the state or the country yet because they haven't confiscated his passport. He hasn't been officially charged with anything yet. But it sounds bad. I mean, of course, I did have this relief because the charge sounds worse than what it really is. The official charge is aggravated assault with the what do you call it, firearm, right?
Firearm, yeah. When you just hear those words, you're like, yo, this guy was wilding. What was going on here? But
so the story is it's road rage, and he flashed a gun during road rage, which sounds absolutely nuts. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine being on either side of that. I can't imagine being in a car with somebody and they're like that. They blow up and then pull out the blick, nah, chill out, basically. I'd be like, whoa, what's going on? And if I was in the car next to him while he was doing it, I'd be like, yo, what is happening?
That's legit why driving in Oakland, I let anybody do anything that they want. If you cut me off, if you do have at it. I'm not arguing with nobody. I'm not doing anything. have fun because that does happen, and I don't want to be a part of that. It sounds like a Dark Side of the Ring story when they started telling us. I'm like, this sounds like when they were in the 80s, homie would drink a bunch of beers and then have a gun, and then the cops like, this is a 100% Dark Side of the Ring story, and I was like, this is kind of crazy. It's crazy just because everything has been about Dax when it comes to FTR. Like anytime we hear something that's not a great match, something outside of the ring, it's always like, well, what did Dax say? What did Dax do? What is going on here? So for it to be Cash was a shock. But yes, do not condone driving around wilding with the gun, because that's crazy. Glad everybody was safe off of the back of it. Yeah, it could have been south so quickly, and it was in Florida. So when I was reading the whatever police report, and the person that he pulled it on was just like, I was just scared. Like there's not anything to the story. The guy was driving crazy. I pulled the gun up. I got out of there, and that was it. Like it's not anything. Nobody was hurt. It was just a wild situation, and so it just sucks all around. The timing is so unfortunate. AEW can never catch a break. Anytime they get some kind of nice momentum or something, here comes your boy Phil. Anytime they get some other kind of nice momentum, somebody gets injured. Anytime they get some kind of nice momentum, something crazy happens. Like they just cannot catch a break. Like we've had so many potential matches that would have happened this year in the history that like some kind of existential crazy crisis has affected it. It doesn't seem like Phil said that it's affected at the moment. They didn't take his passport. They didn't tell him he couldn't go to work. But I mean, others overseas and shit, they're crazy about these gun laws and stuff like that. If you have something like this on the record, even small, like sometimes they're like, hey, nah, bro, you can't come in here with that.
Yeah. Yes, I don't know what's going to happen with it. At the moment, he is advertised for Collision tonight. He's advertised for Dynamite next week. Yep. So that seems to imply that he will be on the card for All In.
But also, you do not know with Tony Khan, like potentially with how pro wrestling is and how Tony Khan is tonight, like at the end of the night, there could be new AEW tag team champions. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm not saying anything, but like that's how wrestling works. Like Rob Van Dam was arrested with the WWE championship, and then like 3 days later, Edge was the WWE champion. Like that's like this, people don't even want that kind of stigma on their company, like of like a wrestler was arrested and you still let him, you got a crazy firearm brandishing wrestler and you just let him go back on TV. Doesn't seem that crazy, but like on the outside, WB, they have sponsors, they have somebody on top. If they're like, yo, what's going on? Why do you got this guy out here wilding? Like we don't want that look on us. Like do something about it. We don't know anything that's going to happen, so tonight is going to be very interesting.
I am very curious to see what happens tonight. Of course, this is also in the hands of wrestling fans. I'm very curious to see how the fans are going to respond to him tonight, because this is like very soon.
Where are they at tonight? Does anybody know? That's going to be that could be the determining thing. Because it could go one or two ways. It could go that they're just like supporting their fans, they're like cheering, or they could just like, it could turn. I guess it could go three ways, because they could turn funny and they could just be making jokes the whole time.
So I'm very curious to see what happens tonight, but it very much seems like he's still going to be on the card for All In at this point. Nothing has really shown that he might be taken off. Again, he hasn't been effectively charged with anything. He had his arraignment, but he hasn't been charged with anything yet, so we don't know. There's so much we don't know, and I saw a lot of people.
I keep my nasty jokes, man. I'm gonna keep them.
Yeah. I seen a lot of people commenting right away when the news came out, and I just. Of the big belief that we don't need to throw our 2 cents on right away on everything, and that's why
I'm gonna keep them.
Well, sometimes when I saw it, I was like, well, I don't have a comment, because the first thing I tweeted was the Homer GIF of sliding back into the bushes, and people were like, "What do you know?" And I was like, "No, that's the point. I don't know anything. I don't have nothing to do with this. I have no comment. Like, like I don't want to be. I'm not doing the ambulance chaser thing. I'm not like, oh, well, I have updates. I have no updates. Don't look to my Twitter account for none of that, bro. I ain't got nothing. Look over there.
Listen." This is the last thing I'm gonna say on it. And we're gonna move on. Nick and Matt Jackson be at home with their wives and kids. That's it.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go.
Well, say your favorite tag team and let's yeah,
Here we
brother.
go.
Put the tag team straps on the Young Bucks. You got nothing to worry about except for some guy coming in or them going into somebody's locker room and fighting them. But besides that, no, that's it. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's the other part.
I was gonna end this civilized, Bill. No way.
That's the other part about this. I now wonder if there was a planned finish for this match. Is it gonna change now?
That is very interesting.
I don't know.
Because I could see I could see the FTR continuing this thing of this run. So them getting a victory over the Young Bucks wouldn't have been a surprise at all, like 0%. So, but now things have changed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But
it's pretty unfortunate though. I think the most part.
Yeah, thankfully nobody was hurt. Thankfully this didn't turn into something. I mean, because I don't want to say thankfully it didn't turn into violence, but no, flashing a gun on someone is violence.
That's violence.
It is violent, but long as no one was physically hurt.
No physical violence, but that's definitely violence.
Yeah, I'm glad that this didn't turn into anything like that because that would have been very sad.
I watched some of SmackDown and Glassdoor Gamer is what I want to get into. Can we get into it? Are we? Do you want to talk more, Cash? Because this is I don't be watching SmackDown. Glassdoor Gamer says, does WWE think LA Knight losing is good creative? Phenomenal question, Glassdoor Gamer, because I watched this show, Phil. I haven't watched WWE SmackDown in a while. And very hot crowd. So hot that when LA Knight came out,
so hot,
the roof blew off, Philip Lindsay. They are super duper 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 into LA Knight. This brother is about as over as you could get. I mean, from seat one to the last seat in the building, these people are going ham for LA Knight. The Miz is trying his hardest to tell the people, the viewers, that LA Knight ain't it, and nobody believes him. They're trying so hard to do this, but he's so over. And then he loses in a United States #1 contender match to the guy who didn't even defend the belt and who just lost it, Austin Theory. Phil, what the hell is going on here? Why? Is it adversity for LA Knight? Are we going to see him lose forever until he gets the big one? What's the big one?
Two things were interesting to me about this whole thing. LA Knight has now reached a point where he's so hot that even Paul Heyman has to acknowledge him in his promos, because Paul Heyman mentioned him in the Bloodline segment. That is another development in the Bloodline segment that went nowhere.
Yes.
But so he, well, not a development, but he mentioned them, and I was like, because that was the thing before Money in the Bank where everybody was saying LA Knight's got to win, and the thing I kept saying at that time is I was like, he's not even in any of the champion stratosphere at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
But now that has changed, and so that just tells you how over this guy is. The other thing I noticed, did you see Austin Theory's trunks?
I didn't notice.
His trunks, if you look at the font for his name on it, it very much looked like it was the SummerSlam thing. It was a SummerSlam logo. And so he was, of course, in the SummerSlam match, the Slim Jim match, but that made me wonder, like, was he supposed to initially defend his belt at SummerSlam that he had like gear made? And I'm like, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but yeah, I saw it and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And
or it could even be like, I'm reminding y'all of SummerSlam where you screwed me out of my match. Like they could have a couple of meetings.
Yeah,
underneath
maybe he had that made ahead of SummerSlam because he thought he was defending his belt at SummerSlam. I don't know. Yeah, this Miz and LA Knight stuff is interesting because I do think it's good. I do think that the stuff they did on Raw was much better than what they had them do on SmackDown this week. I thought that promo that they cut back and forth was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I just will never understand why WWE does this thing where as soon as someone becomes popular, as soon as they become a babyface, they gotta lose. And it's like, no, we're into them. Why are they losing?
Or even worse is them thinking that like Miz has the accolades, but he's not like a gatekeeper. Like it's not like when you
No,
beat the Miz, now you're on your way. No, dude, I don't want to see him against the Miz. Like I feel like that's
no,
a downgrade for what he was doing.
no. So anyway, yeah. The match was fine, but the finish I thought was dumb.
Garbage.
The distraction with Miz, and then we got the whole leverage pin thing. I thought that was dumb.
Terrible.
I just don't understand why we're doing that. Well, LA Knight, the guy is super popular. Just do something.
What do they want? I don't if I was a wrestler, I'd be so frustrated. I'd be like, okay, getting over isn't what they want. Like, what do you want from me?
The only thing I can think of right now is that the positive of this is that they're at least putting him in a feud, because that was another one of my arguments against him winning Money in the Bank, is that he doesn't really have any feuds going right now.
True.
He hasn't had any feuds really since the Bray feud.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, at least with the Miz stuff, they're building a feud. They're building a feud. They're building a feud with somebody that they think matters and that they think people want to see. So I think that's a good thing. But it just seems so clear that they could have just put the United States Championship on him at SummerSlam, and I don't know why they didn't do it.
Again, like the Cody thing, this Miz story would hit a lot harder if he was the United States champion.
I don't know, man. But this is their formula for babyface. As soon as they turn somebody face, they gotta lose. It's just I don't really get it, but here we are.
Luckily, LA Knight keeps beating the adversity, and the fans don't care that they keep putting him in these awkward positions. Like, kudos to him for making chicken salad out of chicken shit all the time.
It won't matter at this point. He's one of those guys that is over in spite of his booking, so it won't matter what they have him doing at this point. He's so over that fans are going to keep cheering him.
It's going to be interesting because this is going to start to turn into a Bryan Danielson deal. It's going to be interesting come Royal Rumble when all the fans want him to win and they don't want him to win. You know what I mean? Like when the fans are in that building being like LA Knight, and they want fucking.
At this point, who would you think is winning the Rumble?
I want to say Codeman's going to go back to back with it.
Kind of seems like he is, doesn't it?
Yeah. It looks like it. I mean, from the Brock Lesnar thing, how they're setting him up, projecting looks like they're setting him up for a round 2. So that's why I'm like, that's what's going to make it worse. If the whole crowd is there for LA Knight and they're like, no, we're going to give you Cody. You said you wanted Cody. They like to do that too. It's like, no, you said you wanted this. Don't turn against it now, because that's what happened with Bryan Danielson. So I don't. Yeah, it's gonna get touchy-feely over there in January.
The other funny thing about this is if Miz can just show up on SmackDown because he got beef with LA Knight, why doesn't Cody just show up on SmackDown and ask for his rematch?
He can't. Miz can because he has an invested thing.
I don't understand why, but I don't know. What do I know? I don't know nothing.
Yeah, I really don't get it, honestly. The LA Knight thing is like the most confusing thing in wrestling at this point for me, because it's like you guys don't want a home run. Like you want to, like they're trying to like not to fucking stop his from being over, and it just doesn't work. They're like, how can we put him in the worst positions? And the fans are like, no, dude, we want this guy. We're not gonna let you guys do this to us.
Well, I mean, the good thing about it is, like I said, it does seem like they're acknowledging that people want to see more of him. The fact that he was on Raw and SmackDown within close vicinity at least makes it seem like they're going to try to give fans what they want.
Yeah.
I just don't know if having him lose to start this Miz feud is the way to go. It certainly feels like the Miz is going to be his big opponent, probably for Payback. But I don't know. What can you say?
Yeah, he needs to at least has to start smelling that championship. Like there has to be something for the rest of the year. He can't just kind of exist. Like if the Miz feud is for the rest of the year, he's gonna be dead in the water come January. So you better do something out of this. I mean, getting a big win over the Miz is gonna be good for him, I guess. So I guess that's the best part.
I mean, in kayfabe, Miz is a 2-time WWE champion. He has main evented WrestleMania. Beating him does matter. Tony P sent us a few more super chats. It says Edge wasn't my fave, especially after learning about the situation with him, Matt, and Lita as a kid, but learned to respect him as I matured and I got older. If this is the last match overall, then props to him. Also said, and if Edge is gone, but not Adam Copeland, I think you mean Copeland. You do think he's popping up at All Out? Because I don't see it happening at All In if he's coming to AEW. Also, wouldn't be shocked if he stayed with WWE for lesser dates. I don't know if you want to get into Edge stuff now, but I kind of don't know what to make of the Edge stuff.
Right, same here.
Straight away, I thought the match was very good. I thought everything they did for Edge last night to celebrate his 25th anniversary was very good. The tributes were great. Stuff like him coming out and giving Beth the hug and his kids were in the crowd. Those videos of him taking pictures and stuff with his kids backstage were also really good. Just a lot of really good, wholesome content around Edge last night.
Facts.
It made you appreciate everything he's done as a wrestler, everything, what he means to so many people over there, what he means to the fans. So it's cool. It's cool to see him get that big pop in Toronto as well. And him and Sheamus put on a banker, man, for them to have their first time matchup on a SmackDown. I thought that was really the biggest selling point for this SmackDown. A lot of the rest of SmackDown was kind of miss. You weren't really missing much. But I feel like if you watched anything from the SmackDown, it was the main event.
You know what's funny is I watched everything up to the main event.
You didn't watch the main event?
I didn't. I had to run out. They need to one, give Sheamus his flowers. He has been doing matches like this. He has been executing on a high level for many years. It's so funny. I remember when Sheamus first came in and he was feuding with John Cena. I was like, get this guy out of here. I'm not into this stuff at all. But over the years, like when he started tagging with Cesaro and started getting into the character that he is now, like he's been destroying it. I honestly think they should probably move him to Raw because I think he can be another contender for Seth Rollins. And I think he deserves more than what's going on over here on SmackDown. I understand they have Drew over there and they don't want to mix the guys up, but like, he should be on that side with those guys. I think he represents that more. Shout out to Edge, though. I think this was his last WWE match. He has done everything there is to do in WWE, ran the course, championships, Royal Rumbles, Money in the Bank, like everything, Elimination Chamber, like all the matches, all the things, all the stuff. He's done it. Not done in wrestling, though. I think before the year is over, we will see Adam Copeland in an AEW ring with his friend / brother, Christian, at minimum one more time. At minimum one more time, we're going to see them two together. Edge is not going to go out like that. He loves wrestling a lot. I think he wants to do a couple more things before he's officially out of here. Had a great career, though. A lot of it was I wasn't a super big fan of. I'm just going to be 100% real with y'all.
Post-retirement or pre-retirement?
Pre-retirement. Post-retirement too. Okay, whatever. We're not.
Pre-retirement, he has a lot of things like the tag team stuff, of course. His run as a rated R superstar, the Money in the Bank stuff. I mean, he really put that stipulation on the map. I feel like he made the Money in the Bank, at least the thing to do as a heel. He really cemented that briefcase in a lot of ways.
He did.
And there are a lot of other career highlights he had before he retired. And of course, his retirement was such a big deal. And it's just one of those really bittersweet and memorable moments for a lot of fans. But of course, it's just him getting that chance to wrestle again. We thought we'd never see this guy wrestle again. Coming back and competing in a Royal Rumble in 2021, which
Yep.
sorry, 2020.
2020.
Does not seem like he's been back for 3 years. He's like the fact that he's been back for 3 years. He had all this stuff with Orton when he first came back, which I'm not a big fan of. But
the greatest wrestling match of all time.
Yeah, he had that. He had the feud with Seth Rollins. After that I thought was really good. At least the matches were very good.
Yeah.
He did some other stuff that again wasn't that big a fan of. Judgment Day stuff. It was didn't really hit until he left and Finn took over as leader. Finn really gave them their swag in my opinion. But I just think it's great that he's had a chance to end his career on his own terms. The fact that he's gotten the chance to, even if this is not his last match, it's his last WWE match, to get his last match in Toronto, to get that kind of reaction, to have a really good match like that, main event SmackDown, I think that says a lot. I think that's great for him because, again, we thought this guy was never going to wrestle again. And, I mean, I think that's another thing with like Saraya as well. I think going from thinking you're never going to wrestle again to going and wrestling in front of 80,000 people in London, like that's incredible. That's
a big deal.
That's amazing. But I don't know what this means for him. It certainly seems like he's done with WWE for now. The way that they treated this, they made it feel like he's retired. It felt very similar to when Brian left in a lot of ways. It felt very similar to something went from, oh, we didn't hear anything about it until all of a sudden it was treated like a big deal on TV, and it was like, oh wait, is he gone? And then like Beth in the crowd crying during this match and all this other stuff. I'm like, is this guy like retiring for good? We got the report, of course, from his trainer that this is going to be his last WWE match. Then we got him saying himself that his contract expires at the end of September. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's going to A-Dub. Maybe he wants to do some. Maybe he wants to end his career with some tag team wrestling because he hasn't gotten to do that. That was the last thing I feel like that's on his list of things to do post-retirement. And actually, I think AEW would be a good place for him. It's really starting to establish itself as the place for tag team wrestling again.
And the place for legends. Like they pay tributes to their legends in a really different way. And you know that they would do some really cool things with Edge. Devon Dudley, I think, is the only one that couldn't go. They could run that, they could potentially run that classic format of TLC match. But there's always the Young Bucks match. Like there's so many things that they can do. That's why I'm kind of interested in seeing. That'd be the most interesting thing that Edge has done in years if he were to do it. So
you think Metalingus is kicking off on an AEW show soon?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
You think it's
He's definitely gonna give Rob Zombie a bag for sure. Rob Zombie's getting a bag for if Edge is coming. So yeah. I don't think he's gonna be because I think somebody said that his contract is over in September, so he probably won't be there next week.
Yeah, it's a direct quote from him. He says that his contract is over at the end of September. It's up.
But also,
this was his last contracted match for SmackDown.
Wrestlers be lying.
They do. But he did very much say that this match last night was his last contracted match. But he did say the distinction is that his contract is not up until the end of September. Could be not telling the truth. We don't know. He could be. He could be behind the scenes doing Metalingus, queuing it up and playing it loud in his car, like "Let's go."
Let's effing go. Because could you imagine that if he came out at an all-in with 80,000 people there and a not WWE show? That'd be crazy.
I don't know, man. It might be hitting a honest day. I see clearly.
That would be nuts. But yeah, shout out to Edge, man. Hall of Fame worthy career. He did it. Even if it really is his last match, like you did it, dude. You did everything.
I don't know. It might be hitting that, man.
I could see it. I could see it. Yeah.
You can see it clearly?
I can see it clearly on this day.
Everything's coming to light.
Wild. We have more Humper chats.
Yeah, we got some more Humper chats. That screen just like refreshed on me, so I gotta wait for it to come back up. One from Jennifer. She says, very generous super chat, Humper chat. Sorry. Love you, gents. Just wanted to send you some support since I've been so quiet lately. Appreciate you, Jen.
Thanks, Jennifer, as always. So cool.
One from my homie Wanga. Good day, Grapsody fellas. That was a fun G1. Couple of strange calls on the results, but overall, I really enjoyed it, especially Naito getting the win. They also set up some interesting matches coming out of it as well. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Right.
Really fun G1. Definitely some interesting booking choices along the way, but I think they stuck the landing. I think they set up a lot of interesting stuff with the young crop of talent they got coming up. Very excited to see where they go with Shota and Ren Narita after this. That definitely seems like that's going to be a feud that goes on for a while. Interested to see where Suji goes after this. Like I said, he's probably going to be challenging for the UK title, but interested to see overall where does he go with this company because he's extremely popular.
Where did we talked about Okada, but where do you think he goes after this? Since he's maybe not going to be in the Wrestle Kingdom main event this year, like what's going to happen?
I don't know. Maybe they're going to run Brian Okada back at Wrestle Kingdom if Brian's ready by then.
Right.
Maybe they're going to go back to the Kaito feud. I don't know.
Yeah.
They've got options. It's Okada. Okada will make everything.
Without the championship Okada because it's always in the air. Like you never know. They could go like any direction from this point.
Yeah, it's Okada. Wrestling Okada at Wrestle Kingdom is going to feel like a big deal regardless. So he'll be in a big match.
I was going to say that's one of those he could main event over the IWGP Championship, but that's what I love about New Japan is they don't let that happen. Like the IWGP Championship is always going to be the main event.
Yeah. Unless you're Naito that year and you didn't get the main event.
Yeah.
Intercontinental title main evented, and it was legitimately his villain origin story.
Right. See, it played into the story, so it worked out.
From Bizarro Big L, hey fellas, happy Grapsody. Just chilling today, but had to let you know last week on the golf course while listening to the hip hop combo, my phone hit my pocket, decided to call my mom, and then my ex.
What?
Those who ask, I don't block people. I just move on.
Yeah, how do you feel? Let's get into this a little bit because I've recently had a blocking issue. We talked about Twitter blocking, but do you block in real life? Because I was having this like people because there's this person and she's like she won't stop until I block her. Like I have that's like she'll get so aggressive and nasty that I've never blocked anybody. I don't block people in real life, but she like forces me to block her. She's currently blocked. She's gonna stay blocked forever. Do you get down like this, or do you just is it anybody could contact you forever?
Yeah, I don't really block people. I'm not a big fan of burning bridges with people. Like, usually if you can't sort something out with people, I just stop talking to them.
You in contacts with your ex-girlfriends and things?
No, not really.
See?
But I haven't had to block an ex. I've never blocked an ex.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know I've been blocked by an ex for sure.
I've 1,000% been blocked by an ex. But
most of the time I don't like it. Same thing. I don't really feel like burning bridges.
I'm not a big fan of burning bridges. The story of why I got blocked by one ex is just so bizarre, and I still don't really understand their reasoning for it. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, I don't really do that. I don't have anybody on my phone blocked. Tons of people on Twitter blocked for sure.
Yeah, hell of people on Twitter. But yeah, real life blocks, no, it doesn't.
But see, here's my thing. Twitter is different because if you are somebody I don't know, I don't care enough to sort this out with you. I would rather just block you. If it's somebody I know, no, just call me. Like if it's like an issue and we can't sort this out, it's an untenable situation, then whatever. Let's just go our separate ways. If I know you, then I care enough about your opinion or whatever to not just block you to go, oh well, I don't care what you think at all. I'm just gonna block you. Somebody that I just don't know on Twitter, like, who cares what you think? Block.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a provoked block. It wasn't just like you're dumb. It was like, no, you brought this on yourself, Missy. Let's please move on.
Then you start this conversation. He's like, let's move on.
I totally did. I definitely started this conversation. Why did I start this conversation?
See, from Nelson Muntz, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days till All In at Wembley. Who would have thought in 2023 that AEW would write history and Melly Mel would challenge Nick Cannon on who had the worst diss track in history? Yeah, Melly Mel we're just gonna forget that ever happened. He actually came out and gave a formal apology to him. I think that's enough for us. We don't need to.
That is enough.
We don't need to. We don't need to rehash him.
Is that the first ever hip hop apology? No, somebody's apologized before.
Yeah, Hove had to apologize. Remember, his mom made him
apologize. Yeah, Hove did apologize. Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Condoms on your baby seat. Yeah.
No, that diss track was awful. Let's just erase it from history. I've tried not to think about it since I listened to it that day. It just god awful.
I want to pay tribute to our legends, though, Phil. I can't. It's so bad, though.
It's so bad, bro. My man said, you acting like a roach just hopped out of your book bag. Like, bro, stop, man. Cut this out. Cut it out. Cut this off right now. cut
it all off. Pull the mic
off.
out of the thing.
Yeah,
turn these lights off. Let's go.
Engineer, get out of here. Cut all of the switches down. No, stop. Get out of here.
But that's the funny part though, because like the roach of the book bag thing, it's like we like our generation understands it, but like the younger generation don't know what the hell you're talking about. And it's off. We do understand it, but it's awful when we do understand it. So what are you?
Awful, man. Nah, my man.
But he's allowed to do that though. I don't think he should apologize. You got to live on that.
Nah, he should apologize to us for putting out that record, bro. That was trash.
Not to Eminem. Apologize to the fans for having to listen to it, but don't apologize to Eminem.
That was god awful. He started that record with why you mad? Why you hurt? Why you look bad? Yo, stop, bro. Cut this out, man. Just stop it, bro. You're a legend. Get your stuff off. You're Hall of Famer. God. All his other things. I'm sure he had his moment in the 8-hour tribute to hip hop, but
why you look mad? He didn't.
He didn't. Maybe that's why he did. Maybe they heard that. I was like, nah, bro, we not inviting him.
He hugged this spot. Nas and the Massacre was like, yo, you heard that Melly Mel shit? We might have to scratch him off of this.
Nah, bro.
That's probably why I apologize. He's like, you know what? My bad, y'all. I was wilding. I didn't know this. No, the funny part is in his apology, he essentially said Eminem fans are wild. He was like, yo, I didn't know they got down like that. Like, obviously, you came at him. We know you didn't know that he got down like that.
How did you not know this? The term "stan" started because of Eminem fans. How did you not know this, Melly Mel?
We have a whole last term because of this person, and you thought he was going to have regular, normal fans? No.
Nah.
But shout out to Melly Mel for a great laugh, though. I can't be mad at that.
Yeah.
Nothing better than a great laugh, because he really got it. Hilarious.
Yeah. No, we got some good reactions to this thing. We got some funny moments and some funny jokes out of this record, but please never again. Don't do this to us again.
We're good. We're good here. That might have been it. Like, don't rap again, I think, ever again. Let's do the hits. You can rap still, but just do the hits.
Sometimes you don't need to go home again, man. It's all right.
Stay outside.
It's all right, man. From Don Ramondo, good afternoon, Phil and Reg. Tony Khan should be arrested for that Jeff death match. Phil, you're a fool for that Cash Wheeler jokes. Yeah, that death match. Not quite ready to get into that. I was going to say, should we get into it?
No,
let's get into more Humper Chats before
I... We got some super chats, too.
We say anything about this. Another one from Bizarro Big L. Phil, was it... it was... it was an international record. They beat WrestleMania 32, and WWE responded by being petty and saying they sold 90K to the 2 days at Philly, and considering All Out only had few matches on the card, so I feel All In feuds are going to fill into it. Yeah, I guess this is in reference to me responding to Raj this morning, asking him why is he bringing up WrestleMania attendance numbers in response to them breaking a record in Europe. I didn't understand. 'Cause those are all U.S. shows, so I didn't understand the point he was trying to make. Yeah, that's another weird thing that happens to me a lot on Twitter, where I'll respond to something and I'm going, "What do you mean by that? Why,
what do you mean?"
And people will just be like, "Oh, you're beefing now." Like people thought that with people thought that with O'Shea Jr. this week too. And I was just like, nah, man, as a fellow Punk fan, I get him. Get your shit off. But I didn't really understand what he was saying when he was like, nah, I stopped liking him because they be dissing WWE too much. But my boy Phil, I'm like, wait a minute. Your boy Phil stayed dissing WWE. What are you talking about?
Listen, OJ Jackson Jr. and Sr. be wildin'. That's all.
Yo, I mean, and hey, man, fan of his work. He was great and Straight Outta Compton. He was dope in the Star Wars show, Obi-Wan. He was in Obi-Wan. Seems like a cool dude. Definitely a wrestling fan. I think it was dope that what started this was him spray painting the X on the AEW replica belt. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. You should have Punk sign it. That'd be dope. That's like a dope collectible. But then when he started jumping into, I don't fuck with AEW because of this. And I was like, where are you going with this, buddy? And that was kind of it. And people were like, oh, now you don't fuck with him? I'm like, no, I'm still a fan. I just didn't really understand what he was saying.
He said that he doesn't like AEW because they be dissing too much. Didn't his dad write a song called No Vaseline?
His dad is famous for dissing.
His dad is very famous for dissing.
One of the most famous diss records ever.
A couple of them. Yeah. Against NWA, against Common, like he has so now you don't like disses?
Yeah, nah. Not when it's about the Fed. You got chill out. You got chill out, bro. Then now forever, bro. Chill out.
Not then now and forever.
No, he tweeted that. I'm not putting that on his jacket.
I had to continue to stay off Twitter because if he tweeted that, forever,
I didn't say that.
Shut my Twitter down.
I didn't just put that on his jacket, man. He tweeted that.
Then now and forever.
Yes.
Why?
Because he's a fan. I don't know. Hey man, shout out to O'Shea, man. Again, I ain't beefing with homie. I just didn't understand what he was saying. Again, as a fellow Punk fan, knock yourself out, man. Have a blast.
I want to separate the art from the artist. But I fast forwarded his dad's part of the Hip Hop 50.
Oh no. Well, I wonder what songs he did.
I want to separate the art from the artist, but it was hard. My hand went right to the fast forward.
What records did Lupe do?
Lupe did Superstar.
Yeah, that sounds
most of the big. He did Superstar. He did Hip Hop Saved My Life. He did. He only did like 4 cuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, you did 4
he
records.
Each started out with Kick Push. He did Kick Push.
Yeah.
Another one, and then he ended with those 2.
You did 4 records, and you was giving it up like that to NYC.
He's still mad about it now. But yeah, it was him and Common back to back. Chicago representing, and they were like nobody could perform like Common. Like as far as performances, it was like Snoop, Wayne, and Common. I think of like these guys are fucking performers. They're rappers. Like this is real to them.
Yeah, now Com will get out there and legitimately freestyle and then jump into some breakdancing out of nowhere. Like, all right, bro.
He freestyled, of course, because he can. Yeah, I've been to a show. I think it was in LA. It was like right after Finding Forever, and man, one of my favorite shows that I've been to. And he freestyled. He was breakdancing. Like he's going through all that. I think he might have DJ'd at one. Like he's going through all the elements.
Listen,
I'm like,
man,
this guy is as hip hop as
this
it
guy.
comes.
This guy is hip hop, bro. Don't ever try and put nothing else on this man and try and call him no sellout, man. This guy represents the culture, man.
From top to bottom, through and through. Yeah, still an incredible performer. Like no vocals. I'm about to rap hard. Like crazy.
Yep. Another Humper Chat. I think it's our last one from friend of the show, Smiley. Also, Reggie. Hoodslam was so good last night. Hoping to see one of y'all at All Out or Survivor Series, one of the two. Also, Reggie, text me back.
Reggie. My name is Reg Tracy.
I will be at both of those shows probably. I have not bought a Survivor Series ticket yet, but I'm planning to go. And I'm about to be in Chicago, Tracy, my friend. You know I'm going to call you and text you when I get there. I'm going to give you all the details. You better hang out. Yeah, we're going to be out there for All Out. Yeah, but
the plan
the plan at this moment is definitely I will be at Collision and All Out. Not planning on going to Dynamite. I do not feel like making this trek to Hoffman Estates. Once they were like, "Oh, we're in the city for them other shows," I was like, "This is the Now Arena." I'm sorry, man. We had a good run, but I don't know.
Collision's at United.
Yep, Collision and the pay-per-view will be at United Center. And I was like, Sweet. "Oh, those two shows are in the city."
Sweet.
I don't know. Now Arena, man, might be deuces this year, man.
Yeah. Okay. Dope. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah, we're about to be outside in Chicago.
Yep. That is our last Humper Chat.
All right, let's get into some of these super chats. Coy Stalling says there are three sides of the stories: cash side, the other guy's side, and the truth. No judgment till I hear all the sides, in my opinion. Yes, of course. Thank you always for the support, Coy. Jake Salazar says, "My God, Goldberg is gonna tag with Dax." I'm just gonna keep going. Glassdoor Gamer says Logan Paul defrauded millions, but is on WWE pay-per-views. Yeah, Logan Paul has a very controversial past, but they don't care about that.
Listen, man, if some crimes is stopping people from wrestling, bro, it's a lot of people that shouldn't be wrestling.
Oh, we're talking about crimes now, man. We need a whole new roster. Get all these guys out of here.
Yeah. I resent this board, dude. This has nothing to do with it being Collider. I will be at Dynamite when it comes back. When they come back in November. I just don't want to make that trek out to Hoffman, man. Like,
hey, board dude, don't let him gas you. You're right. It's because he's a Collider. He can't be over there on the other side. Don't let him gas you,
bro. I will be at Dynamite in November, the week of Survivor Series. I'm just not planning to make this trek to Now Arena, man. Look, I want to be in the city, bro. I say all the time. Hoffman Estates is not Chicago, Illinois. It is fraudulent to say that that's Chicago, Illinois. It's not. Stop lying to me, man. That's not Chicago.
So aggressive.
That is not Chicago, Illinois. Stop it. Rosemont is technically not Chicago either. But listen, at the United Center, at Wintrust Arena, cool. Like we've done the Wintrust thing, man. They got the plaque out there, man. Y'all put numbers on the board. Great. I'm not trying to make this trek all the way out to Now Arena, man, on a Wednesday night, man. Right. I'm not trying to do it.
Yeah. In the city, staying in the city. Jake Salazar says, "Be at home watching his wife screw up shirts." I don't.
What's that in reference to?
It's probably to me, my Young Bucks thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Glassdoor Gamer says, we're just moving on. Glassdoor Gamer says, calling it now, Cody. Getting booed in Philly. Cody getting booed in Philly for WrestleMania 40.
I don't see it. I don't see it, man. Cody's special kind of over at this point. I think that's the thing people got to realize with LA Knight as well. LA Knight is over, but you think he's more over than Cody? I think you're fooling yourself, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's a different kind of over with Cody. It's like the over that they want. Bragav, shout out to Bragav, our supporting says, Cody did say Brock acknowledging him, so maybe he gets a direct shot at Roman at Mania, and LA Knight / Gunther might win the Rumble for Seth at Mania.
Yeah, I see Gunther winning as well. Those are at least my picks. When I did my early picks for Bleach Report, if you want to read my writing there. I picked Cody, Gunther, and LA Knight as 3 early picks. For the women, I said Shayna made a lot of sense. Becky Lynch. And I forgot what my third was for the women. But right now, I'm assuming that Becky is winning the women's.
Yeah, it seems like she's being set up for that too. Also, maybe I know it's going to be ridiculous, but the way that they took out Bianca, she might come back as
Maybe.
You know how they do. Brandon Joseph says FTR bald and FTR hair now, FTR stocky and FTR glocky.
I gotta chill out, man.
I'm about to take y'all Wi-Fi.
I gotta chill out, man.
Hey, what's up over there? Says, would Edge showing up in AEW at All In or All Out after the tribute AEW did for him be in bad taste?
Not necessarily, because
I wouldn't say so.
He when you give any company 25 years of your life, they gave him his flowers on that night. They celebrated him. It's not like he specifically told them like, I'm done with wrestling. And if he did say he's done with wrestling it's not like he did it to get out of his contract. His contract's over. He didn't do any snake shit to get out of his contract. His contract expired.
And I don't think he's gonna be over there being like, fuck them for giving me, for paying tribute to them. Like it's gonna be all pretty on the line. I don't think this is I
don't think this any of this, if he goes over there, is him being disgruntled, because
but also it is pro wrestling. You never know.
Yeah,
I'm sure Vince isn't happy about this.
Yeah, Vince probably might not be happy, but I don't read this as Edge being disgruntled in any way, because I mean, if you remember, we heard those reports that before he came back to WWE, he was having conversations with AEW, and what it was, whatever, he just made the decision to come to WWE. But I don't think there's any hard feelings in it or anything. I think if anything, he might just want to do some tag team wrestling with Christian, and Christian signed over there, so that's what he got to do. Listen, man, if we get Metalingus over there, man, I'm not mad at it, man. Like,
it's gonna work out. Tracy sending super chats over here. Smiley BWR says, afternoon. Hope y'all are doing well. Hi, Reg. What's up, Tracy? I'm going to hit you up about Chicago. Thank you, friend. Love you. Hey, what's up over there? Says, and an easy match for him in AEW is a trios match with Christian and Luchasaurus versus the Hardys and Wardlow.
That makes sense, man. I tell you, Metalingus. Hey, guys... who's this Luchasaurus guy?
That's so funny. Jake Salazar says, Jeff Jarrett, the greatest of all time.
One of the greatest finessers in the history of pro wrestling.
No
debate about it at all. Shout out to Chris Bay, but I don't know if anybody can finesse like Jeff Jarrett can.
Nobody can. And Minimal just submits a Humper Chat, no words on it. Thank you for doing that, Minimal. Gaming for Canada says, can't wait for Mortal Kombat to sponsor an AEW match next month for the new game and have it be a scaffold match to resemble the Pit. That would be pretty sick.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. Yeah, nah, man. Hey, man, I can't knock anybody's hustle, man.
Right. And then Yes Boy says, gentlemen, Funkmaster or Sugar Show for tonight? I think you talk about the UFC fight.
I have no idea.
What's the homie's name? Alistair Black.
About to say Malachi?
There's a UFC fight on. We don't know anything about it, obviously. So
yeah, I don't know enough about it.
That's all of our super chats for now. What something was somebody said I wanted to elaborate on, but I didn't forgot already. Oh, the Jeff Jarrett stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're finally at this point where we have to talk about this death match. This was a very awkward episode of Dynamite.
Yes. To say the least.
And some of it was not good, but it was entertaining enough. Like, that whole pre-tape that Kenny did was very odd, but it was extremely funny to me.
So funny. I've been laughing every single day watching it back.
Him getting beat down, and they kept for some reason cutting back to JR. Expression.
Right. I'm like, JR doesn't have like an attachment to Kenny Omega, so like we don't really need his reaction. But I'm
so
glad
funny.
that you guys went back to him.
His reactions were hilarious. Whoever took that clip and did the Eric Andre joint with it and put the doom, hilarious. Whoever green screened it, so that we can get other jokes off with it. We of course got the Stokely clip of him being in the video for Tip Drill.
Yes.
Also very funny. But yeah, this I thought it was fine as a connective way to bring the elite stuff from the elite and Bullet Club stuff from Collision here, and then we got the main event. That stuff was fine, cool. Was it a little clunky? Sure.
Yeah.
But you also had other weird stuff going on, like the Joker Sting stuff was fine, but it was also very bizarrely placed in the middle of the show. But cool. Sure. It didn't get to the point where I was just like, you know what, man, I think I'm out. I think I checked out until we got to this death match. Boy, this death match was bad,
death
man.
match, very
Very loose
use of the word.
Very loosely a death match. Boy, this was bad, man. And it at least felt good to know.
I mean, it was a death match because I wanted to die after it was over, for sure.
It at least felt good to know that it wasn't just one of those things where, hey, WWE also just likes money, like because anybody that's a sponsor will just offer them some money to be on their show. No, AEW likes money as well. Warner Brothers likes money. They'll take your money to sponsor and promote this video game, which, by the way, if you have Xbox, you can play the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game on Game Pass.
Oh, really?
Hey, man,
Wow.
I might like money too.
Sponsored by Slim Jim head ass over here.
But no, this match was bad. Oh, it was bad.
So bad.
And it wasn't even bad enough in, like, at least the Broken Hardy stuff. Some of that is not good either, but it's entertaining enough in the fact that it's hokey and cheesy. This was just bad. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head of anything, like, Just Makeup was cool. Hey, there you go. Just Makeup was really cool. Him coming
Just
out.
Makeup was dope. I like that. Yeah.
Him coming out with the mask on and then pulling it off to reveal the makeup under it was cool. But boy, this match made no sense. They like went backstage through like one of these like cheesy school haunted house things with like the red light.
Yeah.
Karen Jarrett got in the middle of this at some point.
We were all waiting for your boy to show up.
Yeah, for some reason, they tried to hide under the bleachers at one point during this match. And then Satnam came in. One of the most unintentionally funny moments of this thing was the door opens and there's like all this smoke and light behind him. And then on commentary, they're like, man, what the hell is that? And then somebody just goes, it's Sanjay. And then he comes in with the bat and starts hitting him. I was like, what is this, bro?
Plunder. They dumped blood over Jeff Jarrett and Karen at one point.
Everybody's going to laugh at you.
Yeah. Anytime Karen Jarrett is involved in a match, Phil, we're off the rails with it. Like, too much is happening. At one point, Karen and Jarrett are hiding from the people, and then
yes, under some bleachers.
It's like, what is this? What kind of a match is this? What's going on?
Yeah, so they do all of this romp in the backstage area, get back out, and then they get a table spot with the swanton. That's not enough to put Jeff Jarrett away because we've got interference galore from Lethal and everybody else. And so then out of nowhere, we get literal Leatherface on our screen. I don't know why he was here. It just
the game, Phil, the game.
Of course, the game, but it was like They built him up which hilariously enough, I'm saying they built up Leatherface on a wrestling show. They built him up through this match as this guy that's gonna like a bad guy. Then he comes out and he essentially scares Karen away. So he basically helped the good guys, but then Jeff still won. I was like, okay. But again, greatest finesse in wrestling in his hometown. Got to do this big cinematic death match style match with his wife. Got to stand tall with the Leatherface belt afterwards. Jeff Jarrett.
Gotta love it. Just gotta love it. Nobody can do it like Jeff Jarrett. Got that on. That was a Rampage match as hell. I don't know why this wasn't on Rampage. Got it on the big show, the flagship show. All this plunder, got his wife there, got his homeboys there, got everything going. It's in Nashville. He's hitting people with guitars and stuff. He's covered in blood. He's with the belt. Jeff Jarrett is going to have about 20 of them WWE Hall of Fame rings before it's over because he just keeps doing it in every generation and in every company. But shout out to him. Apparently, this match, they got a good sum of money for this match, and they donated all to charity for the people in Maui. So,
yeah, that's the good thing about this. Tony Khan says that all the proceeds for this match will go to the Maui Release Fund.
Yep.
Cool. Boy, this match was
But yeah, this was god awful. I was waiting
this was
from moment one to moment it was over for Bray Wyatt to show up. I was like, this is all Fiend lore. Why are we having Fiend lore on this show? Get this off of here. What's going on here? And they made it even worse. So I continuously was like, all right, Leatherface is here. The Fiend is coming next.
No, don't try and throw this on my guy, man. Don't try.
What you mean?
Don't try and throw this on my guy Bray and act like, oh, this is bad, so it's in his vein.
Yes,
you just gonna try and throw strays at Bray. This ain't had nothing to do with Bray. Bray's still at home recuperating.
They had his lighting, Phil. What you mean? It was his lighting.
Listen, man. Yeah, nothing to do with Bray, man. Bray at home chilling.
This was the Fiend lore for sure. Everybody was waiting from moment one to moment zero for him to be there, him to show up, hit somebody with the mandible claw or something. I don't know. But yeah, we get it. Y'all like money. Y'all executed. But boy, it was a chore watching that thing, boy. It was a chore.
Yeah, and I think just everything else that went on this show, like I said, I think it was just certain things back to back. Like the women's match afterwards was very... It was very slow and plotting. It didn't really do anything for me. And I think coming right after that match, it just, boy, I was sitting there like, boy, this is not for me, man.
So what did you like for the show? Because I thought the main event was, I'm like, this is how you know a tag team is trash. The greatest tag team of all time can't take them to a good match. How am I bored and the Young Bucks are here? Because the Guns are in the match. Been trying to tell y'all. Y'all been trying to come on this show every day and be like, Red, what about the Guns? They're great. They made the Young Bucks boring, the greatest tag team of all time. Last week, we saw the Young Bucks and the Hardy Boys go off. Why can't the Guns go off, you guys? Explain it to me.
I mean, we know why the Guns can't go off, man. You can't be just coming to the stadium and just putting one in there. You can't do
all
that.
Right. Okay.
But
I set myself up for that one.
No, I think the first half of this show was actually good. I enjoyed the first half a lot. It wasn't until we got into the second half where the show kind of went off a cliff. And I actually thought the main event was good. I enjoyed the main event. I thought all of the story stuff they did with the main event, building up to the All-In match, was good. I thought this match was good. I don't know. It wasn't boring to me. I actually saw people saying, man, this is better than that FDR match we got with the Guns. And
Days line.
Based off of the finish of this match, we're getting a rematch because Bucks did not win this match clean.
Well, they did announce on Rampage that on Dynamite, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega will be facing off against Juice Robinson and the Guns.
Big Juice
again. So, you know what I thought would be super duper amazingly funny at the end of the show, Phil? If when FTR ran out, if Punk just ran out with them too, like what would they do if he just did that? If he just went to save them, like how would they? Would you think they would just roll out the ring and just go to the back, like just not even participate in it? Because like, what can they do? Like, oh, they're coming to make the save. What? CM Punk's here too? What the hell? What's going on here?
If he just ran out there like like David Ruffin when he did the "I know you go believe
Yes.
it, but I refuse to let you go." Everybody's running backstage afterwards, and Nick Jackson is like, "Otis, like, man, get him out of here. You ain't no temptation no more."
You ain't Dynamite no more, brother. Back to Collision.
You ain't on this show no more. Go back to Saturday.
Should have did it, man. Should have did it.
Yo, if he
TV
ran
history
out
around
there,
here.
that would have been the greatest thing ever.
Just behind FTR.
Oh man, they all just run off screen afterwards, like he just comes backstage clapping like David Ruffin.
Great job out there, you guys. If this was 1986, he would do it. Y'all
Hey
soft
man,
now.
he been trying to tell y'all, man, he want to work with those guys, man. He's been trying to tell you, I want to work. They just won't let me do it. I want to work.
That's what this week was about. Now he's like, if I just say it out loud, it'll happen.
He been saying it for a minute. Like, yo, they not answering my calls. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
I showed up over there and said that I could be the other guy in the blood and guts match. Nah, they said they wanted Pac. I've been telling them I want to work, man. Like, what's the problem?
I wish I could have been in the room for when he was trying to pitch them that blood and guts match. Could you imagine? He hasn't resolved anything. So, so I'm going to join your guys' big match that you guys have been setting up for the last fucking 6 months.
No, he's like, look,
probably not, dude.
I heard Brian's hurt, man. I'm friends with Brian. What about me? If you need somebody, I can jump in.
That's not the qualifications, bro, because you guys are friends. That's not going to work out here. He probably really thought that was going to work. Like, no, that's going to get off. Like, it might work. It should have worked. Like, it would have been a bigger match. But I understand politics. Somebody got hit with a chair. I wasn't there.
Look, man. That would have been really, really funny. And their music hit, and they come running out, and then he comes out without his music.
Yes.
Like he does on Collision.
It's got to be minus the music to really hit.
No, that would have been really, really funny, man.
But building up to All In with that show, and next week we got the Go Home show. I was like, oh.
Yeah, this was not a good episode of Dynamite. There were things I liked about it, but on the whole, there was stuff here that I was like, I enjoyed the main event. Main event was fine. I think we opened really, really good international championship match, but Orange Cassidy don't miss, man. Like, he don't have
that's a given at this point.
So, and I thought him and Yuta had a really good win. It sure seems like we're eventually going to get Orange Cassidy versus Mox. I don't know if that's happening.
Which is wild.
All In.
Yeah, that's never even a match I thought. That's never even a match I thought we could get at this point. Maybe at All Out, huh?
Yeah, I think that's happening at All Out if I had to guess. But there were other things I enjoyed on this. But man, like I said, it hit this point in the show, and it just like jumped off a cliff, and it. I want to say it never really recovered, but again, the main event was fine. It just was, boy, it was a chore getting to it, man. Oof.
I'm not mad about it, you guys. Like I said, it goes back to that great wrestling thing that we have. Like, they'll do it again next week. Like, they all can be hits. Like, way more hits than there are misses. But when it's a miss, it's sometimes like, ugh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, very big miss. But I thought, if anything, that is the saving grace for this build to All In. It continues to be the Max and Cole stuff. I thought the stuff they did this week was very good. I think them continuing to keep us guessing on who's going to turn first, because in the midst of that promo, when Max was essentially telling his origin story, you could essentially see him showing flashes of who he really is and turning back into the Max we know and loathe. And I was like, oh no, might seem like this guy might turn on him. But then when Cole cut his promo and he was saying, look, I'll do anything I have to do to win this match, I was like, I don't know. Very good segment. I thought they both cut good promos. I am very hyped for this match. Very interested to see what happens in this 0 hour match. I have been watching now. Aussie Open has defended that belt a lot within the last few weeks, which tends to make me think they're going to lose because they're getting a lot of defenses in.
They are.
And I'm just like, that's usually the sign that they're gonna lose.
Like they probably they're defending. They announced that they're gonna wrestle the Hardys next week, and they might even get one more in before that. It feels maybe so. Yeah, they're pretty deep into it. I see what you're saying. That is usually kind of a prelude. If you like, oh, they're gonna get it in real quick before they bounce them off too. But I don't want this, man. I don't want this transitional. Like, what's gonna happen with the belts after that? Then like. Don't give me like they're just gonna forfeit them after they win them. Like,
I don't think that. If I had to guess, I would assume they're gonna win the belts and the Kingdom.
Oh, they're telling the Kingdom story. I keep forgetting about the Kingdom because every time I see Roderick Strong, I'm like, stop being a little bitch, Roderick Strong.
Roderick basically doing like Crash Hardy stuff is very funny to me.
It's hilarious.
He's still having a neck brace. All of that stuff is really funny, but. Yeah, I'm starting to believe they're going to win the tag titles. I don't know where that leaves them at the main event. I am on the fence because I believe that Max will win and go to All Out and challenge Big Phil Brooks for his the right to be considered the real champion.
And you said you think they're going to end All In with the big face-off.
I definitely think that's where we're going at the end of this show.
Yeah.
And if we don't, that is going to happen eventually. Because I tend to believe that it's going to happen there instead of Punk showing up on Dynamite with his belt.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, that's where this is going. That has to be where this is going. Coming into United Center, that's where he debuted with the belt in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be coming full circle to him challenging Max at All Out.
And that's what's so unfortunate about that stupid promo that he did, because I thought the stuff on Collision, I thought Samoa Joe is so strong right now. The promos that he's doing, the matches, and how he was like, you don't want to give me the match, I'm going to force you to give me the match. And that whole angle was really great. And it was like, damn, this is going to be dope. They're leading to a really super dope match. And then he kind of went over and ruined it. But I think there's still some salvaging it. The finish of that world title main event, I just don't know what's gonna happen. Like, it could go a couple ways. They could do a couple finishes. So,
but I agree. I think Joe's promos on Collision have been great. Joe has been great in general. Everything
he's been phenomenal.
I feel like he's like reinvigorated his career in a lot of ways.
Yes.
He popping up at the end of Collision like a horror movie villain behind Punk and choking him out to end the night was also really good. His promo that he cut during the show where he's like, "You will not." What did he say? He's insulted by his silence or something. He was like, your silence is cowardice. Or something like that. His whole promo was great. Everything he's been doing, the stuff he's been doing on Ring of Honor with Stokely is also really, really good. Big shout outs to Joe.
That's funny. Minimal, that's probably what his super chat was about earlier. Can we talk about the legend of Stokely and the Joe walkaway spot from this week's ROH show? Yeah, him and Stokely teamed up this week on ROH. And the finish to this match was phenomenal. They wrestled Dalton Castle's boys. And so Joe's about to hit one of the boys with the muscle buster. Stokely calls out to Joe, don't hit him with the muscle buster. I want to go to the top. And Joe's like, all right. So he brings the boy down. He locks in one of the boys in like a full Nelson so Stoke can come off with the double axe handle. Stoke jumps off the ropes and Joe moves and does his walk away spot, and Stoke just splats on the mat. And Joe locks in the coquina clutch. Match is over. Great ending. Stokely looked really good in the match. Actually, he didn't look as comedy as I thought he would. Besides that ending spot, they really brought it home. But it was a really fun match. Samoa Joe has been, since the whole Twisted Metal thing, really locked in this great king of television, whatever he's doing.
He's been locked in for a minute, man.
Great, man. It's crazy because, like, I remember that spot when on Raw where he came in to hit Seth Rollins and he hurt himself. Like, that spot replays in my mind because, like, damn, I was so upset about this. Like, here comes Samoa Joe. He's going to get this big moment, and then that happens, and it kind of clouds what happened for the rest of it. And then people were saying that Samoa Joe was washed before he like came over to AEW. They were like, "Oh no, he's washed, he's good." Like he was a fucking coach essentially in NXT at the end of it, and he comes over here and like it's a little bit of a slow start. It wasn't like he wasn't out the gate like he is now, but he still was cooking. But the last probably 6 months, 7 months have been like all heat, nothing but heat. It's like the Samoa Joe we know and love is back, and this CM Punk stuff is making it even better. His promos have been like the last 4 or 5 weeks. His promos have been on fire. I don't know what it is. CM Punk really inspires this guy at this point.
I mean, he's one of the best promo guys in the industry.
Yeah,
he's been one of the best promo guys for the last few years, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But his promos have been very good. But yeah, I think just the the stuff that he does, this comedy stuff, is just very, very good as well. Stokely coming out with him with the smaller towel and the shorts as well over his regular gear, hilarious. Like you said, the spot at the end, and what makes the spot even better is you rarely see something land like that, and you can hear the crowd laughing. Like they got like a studio audience laugh out of this.
They did.
That made it even funnier. Yeah, no, it's really, really good.
Oh man!
But yeah, I'm excited for Joe versus Punk at All In. I'm assuming that's where we're going with this. Because he has been challenging him to the match in London, and he will not be ignored. He's made that very clear. So I'm assuming that Punk is going to show up tonight and accept the challenge, or he's going to show up next Saturday and accept the challenge. Whenever, that's probably going to be the match.
Do you think we're going to get another women's match besides this?
I hope so.
4-way. It doesn't seem like they're setting anything up, but I mean, things could change.
I don't know. I do, and I have been enjoying the Mercedes and Chris Statlander stuff they've been doing on Collision. So I don't know. I don't think that that's a rematch that they would do at that show.
I wouldn't think so.
Maybe that's leading to something at All Out. I don't know.
It's unfortunate because it feels like there should be at least another women's match. Do a casino battle royal. Like you got to do some of those matches. I think for both, for the men's and the women's, just to like. WWE does them and they're ridiculous, but like do one of the matches where you just have 40 people in the match just so they all could be on this show too. You know what I mean? Like everybody needs to kind of get a little bit of shine. And if you have to do some ridiculous battle royal to do it, then do it too. Yeah,
I would like to see the women get like a ladder match or something, a battle royal or something.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. You need to decide who's going to be the next contender at All Out after the 4-way anyway. So that'd be a nice spot to put that in, and it would give the women a chance to wrestle at Wembley. I don't know. Doesn't seem like there'll be a second women's match based on the build. Maybe that'll change.
Like it. Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully that'll change. But yeah, I am excited about a lot of other stuff that's coming out of Collision. I think that what Ricky's doing is really good. I don't really understand the suspension angle because like he's suspended, but then they're like, oh, but he's got a manager's license. I'm like, but who would sign that? The person that just suspended you?
Well, thanks for suspending me. I got this other paper. Would you let me be a manager while I'm doing it? Yeah, sure. What? Why can't I? If I could be on the show, why can't I be on the show wrestling?
Yeah, I don't really get that, but I think the angle that the promos he's been doing, everything he's been doing as a heel, he just looks more confident again. The character is just better as a heel. So I'm up for that. Again, we've talked about how beneficial it's been for Juice and the Bullet Club guys, how beneficial it has been for FTR as a tag team. Yeah, this was the first Collision in a while though that I was sitting there like, all right. Kind of feels like we're throwing some filler in here. Like the Brock Anderson match, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Where are we going with this? We're just
shout
doing
out to
this.
my big homie's angle though. I did like that.
No, the Hobbs stuff was great, and it sounds like that's going to be the match for him at All Out. He challenged Miro, and I'm here for it. That's the way to get both of them on the card. I think both of them need something big like this because I've been wondering, like, where's the Miro stuff going since his return?
I like the way the big homie did it too. He just came out, was like, I got this book. I've been talking this shit, but yo, Miro, this is the only way we about to do it, bro. Come through. Yeah, I was like, yes, this is how I want it. Big meaty man slapping meat. Slap some meat, big dog. That's one of those I don't know who's gonna win matches because You're at crossroads for both of these people, man. Like wins and losses, I fucking hate them. People are gonna think that Miro shouldn't lose right now. He's been gone, blah blah blah. But Hobbs has been putting in the work, man. He needs to spine buster this motherfucker through the mat.
Hobbs does need to win more, I think.
I'm saying.
But I could also see people that are like Miro needs to win, but I feel like Miro is at this point kind of Teflon. He's gonna be popular regardless.
Yeah.
I really think Hobbs needs a big win.
I think so too. He does need the bigger win off of this. If it's gonna be a series of matches, the first win should be Hobbs.
I agree. But I think that's exciting because we don't get too many big man matches in AEW, so I think it's cool that we're probably going to get that on the pay-per-view.
All Out shaping up, big bro. Like I know, like people are stuck on All In, but I'm like All Out's probably gonna be the one, honestly.
Probably getting the Takeshita match,
bro.
Yeah. I did laugh because somebody, I think it was the homie Trevor Dame, was like, man, finding out that all this All Out stuff is probably built in for all of the matches at All Out, and I was just sitting there giving my villain laugh. I was like, well, if you're gonna threaten me with a good time, I'll take it.
That's kind of where I was landing with people being upset this week about the All In build. I'm like, that's like they're showing you right here, like they're setting the show up to build to their other show called All Out in Chicago. Like
that's why I'm like, you can't compare this to WrestleMania. It's just different. I don't know if people realize this, but All In initially wasn't a pay-per-view. Yes. It was just going to be a show they were having in Wembley. I think initially it was going to be like a TBS special or something, but it hadn't been announced. Initially, it wasn't a pay-per-view.
Yep. I don't even think like the TV, the streaming aspect of it came like last. Like they were just like, we're gonna go have a big show in London, and then it's gonna be dope. Like this, I feel like in their brain they were just gonna go have a really dope show in London, but everybody was like, you have to show this show, you have to stream it. Where's it gonna stream? Because as soon as they announced it, everybody was like, where's it gonna stream? Even we were like, yo, where they're gonna stream the show at? And for a long time they didn't announce it because that wasn't even one of the priorities.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I just don't think you can compare this to WrestleMania. And I think the way people have hyped this up is going way beyond what the intention for the show initially was.
Exactly.
And you can't get some people to understand that because they think you're making excuses. But it's not an excuse. It just seems like that's just not what the plan initially was for this show. And they've been adjusting on the fly. All these people that are like, hey, where's the singles match? You were going to get a singles match. It was very clearly probably going to be Bryan versus Kenny. And then Bryan got hurt. So, no, you're not getting your singles match. What am I going to do if I don't have a singles match for this guy after one of our biggest stars got hurt? Oh, let's just work an angle that we probably were going to work anyway, and let's build to that.
Yep. Like we were going to get, I think off the backs of that, like Juice and Jay and Kenny Omega and someone were going to be in a ring together at some point before the year was over. Yeah, this might have been a little rushed with the Bryan stuff, but this stuff was gonna happen.
Right. I think that's what it was. I think they had to pivot, and this was the closest thing that they were probably already gonna have in the works. So they were like, "Well, here, let's do it here."
Right.
And it's a big match to do on this card. I don't understand people that are like, "Oh, they didn't put a build into it, so it's not a big match." Define a big match. That's what I keep wanting to say to people. Like,
what is a big match? All right. You can't win. Truth is, you can't win. Let's get into a couple of super chats kind of pertaining to that, too. Anime Otaku 2 says, stole this from Twitter. People love FTR being a replica 80s tag team until they do 80s tag team stuff. Honestly, 100%. 100%. Like I said, this felt like a Dark Side of the Ring thing. They described the scene like him before on one of the shows, and then Dax just like talks shit like an 80s wrestler all the time, and people are upset about them for being an 80s tag team. That's a great point, Anime Otaku. That's funny. Minimal says, can we talk oh no, we already said that one, the Stokely one. Leonard Aarons III says, Sting and Darby catching AR slipping at his wrestling school. Wow. AEW really going old school with the "it's on whenever I see you" beatdowns from the 80s. All In is going to be something else. Yeah, that was super dope. Sting and Darby showed up to the AR Fox's wrestling school in Atlanta, and they beat up AR Fox, and it was a really cool scene. All the students and everybody in attendance made it really cool. They're loud. They were booing Sting. It was just a really cool thing to add on to the story. I mean, they told the story with AR and Swerve showing up to Nick Wayne's training thing. So for them to return the favor and pull up on AR Fox, super dope.
Stop me if I'm bugging, but I feel like this represents the same energy that was happening when All In was initially announced. Because if you remember, there was no AEW, so there was no weekly shows. The way to promote that show was they were doing stuff like showing up at other indie promotions, and they were doing this the same energy. And I think that's what makes this dope. And I think everything about that and them going back to the old graphics and it restores that energy of 2018 of like all of this stuff happened with indie promotions, like all these indie wrestlers getting announced and getting a graphic. It's the same vibe, man.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Like the Young Bucks would show up in like hog wrestling or something, and then they'd have a match, and then after the match they'd be like, actually you guys are signed too. Like that energy was crazy going on. Like every weekend they'd be announcing. Man. Cody would be somewhere wild and be like, actually I want you to have a contract too. Like that time was
that time period, man. Like that's definitely what I thought when I saw the graphics popping up. Like when you think of like some of the people that were supposed to be on that show and they didn't make it, and like man, that's what makes the Brian thing suck even more. Like Brian getting that All In graphic would have meant so much.
He missed All In again,
man. But man, yo, like I know people are gonna be like, oh, of course you're a Punk fan, but Punk getting that graphic, man, after people kept speculating that he was gonna be on the initial All In Chicago. Remember when people thought he was the Bear for the longest time?
Yeah.
That is a very old BTE reference, but for a long time people thought that this Bear that was showing up in the segments with Cody, like it has to be a popular wrestler behind that, right? Why did he keep showing up? And so the big fan theory was that it was CM Punk, and the Bear was going to show up at All In. It was going to be Punk, and so when Punk gets that All In graphic, man, different energy, man.
I'm excited about it. I think it's dope. See, that's why people aren't looking at it like that for those little details. They're just like, I need Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay number 3 right now.
But see, those are the things that, like I said, I feel like makes this special. If you've been with this company since day one, if you've been following since All In, and you remember all these things, and this brings back all the nostalgia, I think those things are cool.
Right. Definitely. Jake Salazar says, if this was WWE, Steve Fall's goofy ass would be calling this match of the year.
Hey, why are you throwing all these shots at people, bro? You gotta chill out, man. Because
Jake Salazar is on one.
People gonna throw that on my jacket, man. Like, man, you got a problem with Steve Fall, Phil? Like, got no problem with Steve Fall. Like,
I read a super chat about Steve Fall on the pod. What y'all saying about Steve Fall? I don't know.
I ain't got no problem with Steve Fall. I do think he was wilding when he was trying to tell Damian that was match of the year. What? We got our jokes in about that. And he got his question in. Damian like side-eyed him, and he was like, "Match of the year, man. Match of the year.
Match of the year. Match of the year. I can't call it.
Trying to get like you, bro." Very funny moment.
So funny.
Very funny moment. But I had no problem with Steve Fall.
Right. Yeah. Jake Salazar also says Guns did what they could with the Bucks. I'm about to ban you. But the Bucks just so mid. The Guns are colliders anyway. They have bangers on Saturday. You're nasty. Nasty man.
I thought it was a good match. And we're definitely not done with this. We're going to get another match with Gunn versus Bucks. Man, I loved Switch getting his bars off on Collision, by the way. Like, man, those guys think they're the best brother tag team. They're not, because we got the best brother tag team over here in the Guns. King Switch is the best, man.
Classic
glad he's back on TV.
Classic wrestler. Lying.
Nah, man, that's the best part, man. Get your lies off.
Hey, what's over there also says, do you guys think that the cast situation is going to be on BTE this Monday?
I do not think that they will be joking about that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think it, because that's the difference. Fans getting their jokes in, that's whatever. Us getting jokes in, I don't think the company should joke about it.
No, definitely not.
You don't want to open yourself up to, potentially get sued or something crazy.
Right. Sal Cruz says, I hope Joe says to Punk tonight, how dare you put Hangman in my verse? I'm selfish. I want all of the curses. That's hard.
Yeah, nah, that'd be great.
Hmm.
Yeah, nah. Yeah. I definitely could see Joe listening to that Pusha record, so I definitely think he probably understands that preference too.
Hmm. Facts. Coldman's left hand says, Britt's not complaining about anything pro wrestling challenge. Impossible. Hey, we
Man,
like the
look,
Brits. We like the Brits homies over here, okay?
look, man. Beans and Toast guys is gonna go out there and have a good time. They're gonna have all that cool chants and they're gonna sing songs and they're gonna have fun at the show, man. They're just
The Bruv gang is gonna get their shit off for
they're gonna
sure,
they're gonna
bruv.
have fun, man. They're just having a moment where they're upset now, and I know some people are like, "Oh, American fans just don't get it, those Yanks." And it's like, you guys are gonna be fine, man. You
Oh
got two
yeah,
big shows in a year.
next week we want to talk to somebody. We got to talk to somebody that's gonna be in that big stadium. Some UK friend to
Oh
hear
yeah,
about their experiences of what AEW is like. What's the temperature out there surrounding this event? We got some friends of our own going, but we want to talk to some other friends because
yeah, we'll
that's
get somebody.
yeah. That's it for the super chats for now.
Let's see, jump into some Humper chats. Got one from Jake Salazar. Um, the EVPs need to do EVP things and do what is best for business. Best for business is working with Punk. Everyone asks, why did TK give Punk power to run the show? You mean the same way he gave indie darlings power to do EVP things? But I digress. Here's the funny thing. So that report that also came out, which again I was like, why do we need to know this? Tony being in Gorilla and and doing a let's fucking go and starting a CM Punk chant when CM Punk came back. Sounds totally like something he would do. And I laughed
1000%.
and I laughed out loud when I saw it.
Yes.
And I think the report that came afterwards with Meltzer was like people feel less inclined to leak things about him now because now they fully understand that this is
know
a
what time it
situation
is.
that it's a no-win situation. But that's why I'm just kind of like, look, if your boss is still in the business of working with this guy,
What are you gonna do?
what are you gonna do, man? You got to work with him. Your boss has decided that he still wants to work with the guy. He still sees merit in using him. What are you gonna do? You ain't
This
gotta like him.
guy, his career is so parallel to Shawn Michaels, I swear. Because I swear there was a bunch of years where WWE wrestlers were like, Vince, we know, dude, I'm not gonna work with Shawn Michaels. I don't like this fool. He's the worst. And Vince was like, that's my guy. What are you gonna do? It's either him or nothing. I don't care. What do you want? You work with him or don't work with nobody. And that's exactly what it feels like here. It's like, yo, CM Punk is here to stay and he's my guy and I'm going to chant for him that he's back. Like that's what, like I continue to say, there was never one moment that any of that happened where Tony Khan was going to fire this man. There was never 1 second.
You know what this reminded me of when I saw that in Reddit? I believe there was a week we got on this podcast, and the very moment that I knew CM Punk was going to be back is he was doing an interview, he being Tony Khan, he's doing an interview with somebody, and they asked him about Punk and like where they were going, and he immediately no commented. Didn't say anything else. He immediately no commented, and I was just like, man, he will not say anything bad about this guy publicly.
He did that on our interview.
I just read it that way. I was like, nah, I think he still likes this guy. He still wants to work with him.
Yep. I knew it went a couple of scrums we went to, and I was like, he didn't say one bad word about CM Punk ever. Not one bad word. It was either no comment or like, we're happy to have CM Punk in AEW. Like it was always just positive.
Yeah. Now, could this potentially blow up in his face? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Of course.
I am, of course, not in the camp of forcing these guys to work with him. Because it's different because one of them was injured.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I don't think anybody can make a decision for them based off of that experience. None of us were in the room. We don't know exactly what happened. We're probably never going to know the full story. We're always going to get a piece of the story, somebody's side of the story. But if they're just in a spot right now where they're still not cool to work with him, that's their decision. I personally feel like once your boss has decided, I'm going to continue to work with this guy. You don't have to like him. You don't have to be friends with him. But this guy works here, and so I think for the betterment of your company, you need to just acquiesce and at least deal with him. Now, that doesn't mean you got to get in a ring with him. You ain't got to do all this stuff. But I think stuff like he can't be on Wednesday. I want to be in the building with him. I think that's a little silly.
Little excessive.
I think that's a little
excessive.
silly. But again, I don't know the entire story. I wasn't there.
Like if somebody again, if like I was sitting right here and somebody kicked in my door and punched my dog and threw a chair at me, like I'd probably be thinking different, you know?
Yeah, I think you gotta give people time to cool down. You gotta give people a chance to get over things, and I think that's the part that I kind of chuckle at every time Punk is like in the press, like, "Well, I just don't understand. I want to work with these guys. I've said I want to work with them," and I'm like, just like. I don't think that you're helping by doing that, though, man.
No,
like, I get it. I think everything you're doing is making it worse. Like that Hangman thing Saturday, I think that 100% made it worse. And if they were not sitting there thinking about you like, man, I don't want to work with them. As soon as they saw, they were like, this guy again.
That doesn't make them want to work with them. Like that strategy is weird. They're like, no, not more. Like, imagine like just kicking it and then your phone starts blowing up because this guy said something again. Like it probably seems like, again, dude, come on. I thought we were trying to get past this like you said we were trying to.
I don't think that he's helping by continuing to do this campaign publicly, letting people know he wants to work with them. I just don't think that that's helping matters. I think he's got to keep it moving, keep making a good show on Saturday. And if it eventually turns into a program, it eventually turns into a program. But continuing to do stuff publicly and making the fans think that it's a work is just not helping, man. Because it is definitely not a work.
I'm not mad at it because he had to. I think that had to be done. I think he had to say something out loud, but it's not gonna work. Like I think he should have did it, but he shouldn't. It's not gonna work at all.
But here's my thing. Once you said it once, said it. It's out there. It's public knowledge that you want to work with them. Continuing to say it, continuing to do these things is not helping. Man.
No,
say not helping at all.
Kind of establish that could be a thing, which he did, and then move on. But coming back, like tonight, he's probably gonna say something again because he can't fucking help himself.
I don't think he'll say anything tonight. I think the fact that that report came out that he apologized. I think that shows. I think that shows that he realizes that it's not coming off the way he thinks. He might think this stuff is harmless, and he's like, well, I didn't mean anything by it. I thought like we're far enough away that I can get jokes off and try to work a match. No, they don't want to work.
Now, Phil tested the temperature, and he did not want to get chopped in the face again.
This is the other funny thing. I don't know how people don't get that part was a joke. The chop thing was a joke. Like if I have not figured out anything about him since he's been back, is that he paid attention to a lot of stuff while he was away.
Everything.
Because he's referenced almost everything in what he's doing. The Hogan stuff, some of the other trolling he's doing. He pays attention to stuff that's said online. And so I think he got word that people thought that he couldn't take a chop. And so he thought, oh, well, I'm going to joke about it in this promo. But people took it like seriously, like, oh, he doesn't want to get chopped. He was mad at those guys for chopping him. Like, no, I think he was joking because that's what you guys think.
And the funny part is, like, you guys know that like Brody King and him are like really good friends.
Him and Malachi are friends. They took
trained together.
Yeah. So I don't think this is like, oh, I'm mad at those guys. They chopped me. Like, no, he was joking.
So funny, man.
I don't know.
He can't do anything at this point. And
everything is overanalyzed, man.
I get it. But also on the other side, it probably is pretty annoying to those guys being like, we're abiding by your rules, not being at the show. We're doing everything you want us to do, and you're still talking to us. Stop.
Yeah, man. Nah, he sat there was like, man, y'all ain't trying to work with me, man. Don't send Hollywood Hunk over here, then, man. Come out here.
This is who y'all sent to represent the elite? Dolph Ziggler's brother?
Don't send Hollywood Hunk over here, bro.
Nah. No, you cannot have cake in our
and that was funny to me, too. While we're on that topic. That was funny to me, too, because, Nemec got his joke off.
He was great.
He got his joke off when Punk cut his first promo when he came back. And people were like, nah, everybody got to stop, going to Twitter and, talking behind people's backs. No, as soon as he seen Ryan, he was like, hey, man, we got a problem? So, I get it. I get it. Maybe that wasn't the best way to do it, but I also understand why he was like, nah, I heard he was popping fly. What's up?
we colliders over here. What you doing over here, big dog? I thought you said you didn't want to be over here.
Softest man on the planet, right? What's up?
I got questions. That's probably what all I got is questions. All I got is questions. Who's the softest man alive? Who's soft? Me? I'm soft.
Yeah, nah.
Listen, it's Phil. It's hard because like the line is so fine, but some of this stuff is really funny.
Again, some of this was very funny because again, imagining him like seeing Ryan from across the room, like that guy. I seen that tweet. He's like somebody's talking to him, and like he's like, yeah. So he's like, yeah, Phil. So we're gonna run this, and he's like the whole time like following this guy with his eyes, and he's like, and he's not paying attention to nothing nobody's saying. Like he just like stops in mid conversation and walks over there, like, yeah, hey man, I heard you got a problem with me.
He's so toxic, man. It's pretty unfortunate that like what comes with it is so much because we really should just like move on when something dumb like this happens. But it's like so many people in the back are upset about it. Like, why is he hemming people up against the wall to press him and then sending them home?
No, book him a flight.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. He pulled up. No, reading the story is even crazier. It's like Nemeth pulled up and Punk was like, I know that ain't who I think it is, and hit up management. And management was like, hey, come to the office when you get to the building. And then Nemeth goes in and they're like, hey, nah, we don't need you to fly home, big dog.
Hey, man. Getting there and like doing all of the preparation to get there and getting a notice like, nah, you got a flight, bro. Sorry, man. We got a flight for you.
What do you mean I got a flight? I just got here. Nah, you gotta go.
Nah, bro. Nah. Again, Phil being backstage, like looking around, like, well, nah, let him work on his tan at home, bro.
That's so awful, man. But
this all sounds hilarious, bro.
It just doesn't look good. Do you think there was like a morale meeting afterwards? Like, nah, we don't let those motherfuckers.
Who's holding the morale meeting though? Him?
All colliders. Yes, him. He's the one being like, this colliders territory, baby. Don't come over here with that. You got that negative energy. I'ma send your ass home. But him sending Christopher Daniels home though is like,
no, this is all very silly.
All your homeboys, beef is beef, Phil.
But Scorpio is their homeboy too. The Scorpio ain't getting sent home.
It's different.
I guess it is, but yeah, no. Of course, I'm not condoning anything he's doing, but this all sounds very funny from somebody that is not affected by any of it. Yeah, and it's just thinking of him just being like, nah, that guy. Nah, he gotta get up out of here, Matt.
Like, imagine if this was like a sitcom and that whole this whole scenario would happen. That'd be so fucking funny. Like, this guy's annoyed. This guy was just trying to go to work. Like, Nemeth don't know what's going on. Like, that tweet, it was just like, the Young Bucks are my friend. That's it. That's all it is. It's not even really about Punk,
It sounds totally like the beginning and end of a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
Yes.
Nemeth tweeting that out at the beginning of that episode, and then he gets there at the end, and he's like, yeah, here to work collision. Don't.
And he's back home. It goes to the credit scenes, and then it shoots right back to him on a flight home.
Oh, man.
Hopefully the bro got paid. That's all that matters, bro.
I'm sure he did, man.
And that's what it also gets a little, because like the people that he's going after, like in the grand scheme of things, like if we don't see a Ryan Nemeth match or a fucking Colt Cabana match or a Christopher Daniels match ever again, we'd be okay. But it's like you can't. Like, these are like the boys and people's friends, and they have history. So it's a little deeper than like him just being a dick.
Hey, man.
But like, if I never saw a Ryan Nemeth match again,
Listen, man, I thought this when I seen that Ryan Nemeth tweet. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Get your shit off. But yeah. I mean,
but like, there wasn't one person in that arena that bought a ticket for Ryan Nemeth. Like, I'm sorry.
No.
That doesn't make what CM Punk did okay, but like
no. No. He's still gonna get his little BTE skits in.
yeah,
he's still gonna. But again, that's
this
what makes
is
it
probably honestly better
good for him.
Yeah,
He probably got some people that are like now on his side. Again, I just the thought of Punk ironically coming out with that SAG shirt on. I laughed very hard at
what
that,
a
man.
sick individual.
I laughed very hard at that, and it probably was a coincidence because I don't believe that he watches BTE.
I don't think it was a coincidence. I don't think so.
It probably was a coincidence because I don't think he watches BTE.
No.
But I can't imagine him watching BTE and being like, "This guy, he's a SAG guy." They're kicking him out like, "Hey, wait a minute! I think I got the SAG shirt in the bag right now."
That would be crazy. Of like, I'm on the lines, pickets. I'm one of these people, and I've like we're all actors into together. But also, like, you can't get paid over here, bro.
Yeah, nah, man.
And then to put on the shirt and go out on the show that he thought he was gonna be on is like, you guys, you can't make this up,
man. Hangman, teeing that workers' right promo up again.
You can't make this up, man. This is like,
oh god.
I want to say it's like, if it's kept like this, it's fine. Like, if it's all like dumb wrestling shit that's not really hurting anybody, then it's fine.
I again, this all of this like backstage drama stuff that we don't really need to know. It's whatever, man. But if it turns into something serious, then no. Yeah. But if it's just stupid stuff like this, I don't like that guy. There's people throwing petty shots back and forth. It's whatever. It's all jokes.
And I saw the promo. Ryan did a promo before the Ring of Honor show, and it was he's playing into it. He's playing into it. He said he starts going like he starts out the promo by like, oh, it's Hunk Appreciation Night, Hunk, and he's all, I'm gonna help you guys celebrate the Hollywood the Hunk Night. The chant's gonna be "Let's go Hunk." Let's go Hunk, and it really sounds like CM Punk, so the crowd starts chanting CM Punk. He's a smart guy. Like, these are smart people that play into these things. Like, this is probably a way bigger story to us than it is in reality, you know. Let's go Hunk, CM Punk. It's good. Good shit.
He's gonna get his HM on Hollywood made Hunk.
Shout out to the guy.
HM Hunk.
Shout out to the guy. Seriously.
I think we got one last Humper chat from Board Dude. Chicago feeling his boys are nothing but a bunch of small timers, always talking shit and getting hurt from the backlash, constantly playing victim. I have no respect for fools who flash a piece during a temper tantrum. Fragile egos are always crying. Again, I just don't want to throw that into the stuff with my man Cash, because that's real life stuff that has nothing to do with like different. The wrestling stuff.
Right.
I don't know these people personally, so I just don't know, man. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we can't add those two things together. I mean, everybody wilding, but there's some different kind of wilding. Jake Salazar is going to get his stuff off before we leave. Kenny Jericho and the Bucks hate Punk because TK always wanted Punk first. These guys are just backup options. Sad, isn't it, bruv? You wilding?
We don't know that, man. It seems like the thing that sold him on creating a company was the Elite stuff.
Yes,
that was Omega versus Jericho was the thing that was like sparked his interest in starting a company. So I don't think I would say that, man. He definitely wanted the Elite.
Yeah. Jake also says 16 in the clip and one in the hole. Cash Wheeler is about to make some bodies turn cold. Oh, sick, man. Then Twin Blade says, Punk is a pygmy. Stow your ego and go your own way.
I don't know what any of that means.
He's a pygmy. Punk just wants everything to be about him. Speed Punk says, Deathmatch Royalty or Maki Death Kill. Who you got winning that match tonight at Homecoming? I think that Deathmatch Royalty of Matt Cardona and Steph are going to win because them getting a victory and continuing this streak of being obnoxious indie wrestlers that you want to see get the comeuppance plays a better role in this. But Maki and Nick Gage are definitely going to try to kill him. So it's gonna be fun. Shout out to those GCW shows. They got some big shows. Homecoming this weekend. Some good wrestling going on out there.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm picking MDK to win. We also got we got an Impact show this week. We got Impact New Japan, right?
Oh yeah. Tonight is the Junior All Star Festival with like 40 junior heavyweight wrestlers. Bunch of super dope ones. One not so good one, as somebody brought up in the chat earlier. For some reason, Enzo Amore is a part of this great lineup of talent, and I don't know why. Yeah, okay. They won.
Yeah, okay. No, according
so I was gonna say somebody on this pod once said that he was the greatest WWE Cruiserweight champion ever. So I mean, points are being made. But yeah, then tomorrow it's the multiverse joint show with Impact and New Japan. Some really dope matches on there.
Yeah, we got I think Alex Shelley is wrestling Tanahashi in the main event.
Yep.
Here, let me not guess and try and pull up the card instead of guessing. Look at that. I was right. Alex Shelley versus Tanahashi at the main event.
Yep.
You've also got Kenny King versus Kanemaru. Bushi, Chris Sabin, El Desperado, Frankie Kazarian, Kevin Knight, Mao, Rick Swan are in a 8-way scramble.
That's crazy.
Is the last person in there. Sorry, I missed
That's crazy.
Doki versus Sammy Callahan, Leo Rush and Trey Miguel versus Takahashi and Speedball.
Woo!
You've got the big 4-way for the Strong Women's Championship. Julia will be defending her belt against Deonna Purrazzo, Giselle Shaw, and Momo Kogo. TMDK will be in the building. Zack Sabre Jr. and Sean Hayes taking on Moose and Eddie Edwards. Got Bullet Club, which will consist of Ace Austin, Alex Coughlin, Chris Bay, Clark Connors, David Finlay, and Kenta taking on The World, which will feature El Phantasmo, Josh Alexander, PCO, the DKC, and the Big Tongas, Gorillas of Destiny as well.
Oh, shit.
Big 12
That's a fire match, too. Wow.
Yeah. And there's a tag team match as well. Catch 22 will be facing TMDK. Yeah, that looks like a fire card.
Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty sick amount of matches that are put together there. Should be pretty interesting coming out of this. I know that they have another show. They announced Sonata for a show at Impact Emergence. He's going to be taking on big boy Jake something, who I'm surprised isn't in a bigger role. And so I love Impact's partnership with New Japan, because they do stuff like this and you get to see, like, they straight up will do like versus matches, and like that's all you really want from a crossover promotion type show like this.
Yeah. That match sounds fire. I believe that show is going to be on Fight. If you would like to order that, probably going to watch that myself. Sounds like it's going to be really good. I actually missed the first Multiverse United because that was during WrestleMania weekend. It was just going on. But yeah, this card looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about that show. I'm sure there's another, the GCW show. There's all kinds of wrestling on all the time. Collision's on tonight. We got into most of what's happening on Collision. So it's a hot night of wrestling. It's a hot night of wrestling tomorrow. I'm excited, man. The 100th episode of Grapsody is coming up very soon. I keep thinking about it.
Yeah. Big announcements coming up. You see us out here running wild in Chicago, Illinois. Man, and we've got our 2-year anniversary episode coming up at the beginning of October as well.
Yeah, we do, man. This is crazy. That's only about to be a month away too. A lot of dope stuff is happening, man. We got last week after the pod, our Michael Oku interview dropped. We have the Billy Dixon interview dropping
soon.
Definitely before Effie's Big Gay Brunch, which is gonna be all out weekend too. So we got some stuff coming, man.
Yeah. Definitely got other stuff in the works. But let me make sure we don't have any more humper chats before I jump out of here. Don't think that we do.
Yep, no supers either. Appreciate you guys all for a lot of great super chats today, a lot of great humper chats. Always for liking and subscribing, commenting on the YouTube page, being here on the live stream if you can wake up or if it's late or any time of day that it is. The stream was at 420 for a long time. It was very cool. Like, I appreciate y'all doing that to me. 420 people being here in tribute to me. Y'all are just super dope.
Yeah, we do not have any more humper chats. So that is it. As Red said, appreciate all the support as always. Appreciate you for rocking with us for officially 98 episodes. We will be back next week to go over stuff with All In. Post show coming up. More to say than that. Stay safe out here, man. Be easy. But we are out.
Peace, y'all.